All right, we are live. Welcome to the first ever live stream Kaiju discussion video. This is episode 6, and I have here a special guest, Richard Iso.
What's doing, guys? Back with another live stream with Goji Fan 93.
Yes. All right, so in today's discussion, we will be talking about Final Wars, the most, I guess I would say, split down the middle film that has fans either loving it or hating it. And I thought it was best to have Rich on here because we've actually talked about this. Oh, God, I forgot to mute it.
I always do that. Always.
All right. Anyways, so, okay, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so I thought Rich would be the perfect guest for this because he is on the side of against Final Wars, and I am on the side of for Final Wars, and I thought it would be perfect to have not a debate. This isn't a video where we're going to be smack talking each other and saying like, oh, it's just going to be analyzing the film and why it creates so much. I guess I want to say discussion in the fan base. So.
Yeah.
All right, and Rich, I think you wanted to make a disclaimer for yourself before we get into this?
Real quick. You know, some people, if you watched my videos, follow me, I may have expressed distaste for Godzilla Final Wars, but I promise you, I don't hate Godzilla Final Wars. Hate is a strong word, and it's the wrong word to use for many things in this world. So I don't hate Godzilla Final Wars. I dislike many things about it. Then that is, you know, I will express my opinions in regards to the movie. And I don't dislike everything, you know, so there are some things in the movie that I do like, but we'll get into that.
All right. Also, so in the chat, we're not going to be discussing anything 2014 related. That's not what this discussion is about. So I don't want to, you know, talk about if Mothra's in the sequel. So no 2014 stuff. This is just strictly Final Wars. So in the chat, like, you guys can put some questions. We'll try to catch them, or like thoughts that you guys might have. And if you guys have any questions about Final Wars, and maybe we can help you with that, or we can help you with that. Otherwise, we're just going to start the discussion and. That's it. So, all right. So first, we're gonna talk about basically, I guess, background with the film. So like when we first saw it or what we were expecting. So I'll let Rich start, and yeah, you have the floor.
Okay. So first, I don't know how long we're gonna be here, and I don't really care if we're here till 11 o'clock at night. But I want to make sure I get every detail about my experience with it. You know, in regards to our first experience with it. Now, mind you, everybody, I am 30 years old. So I saw, what is it, 2004? So I saw Godzilla Final Wars when I was 21. Oh, yeah, 21. I was 83. Yeah, I was born in 83. Hold on, let me do some simple math in my head that I can't do. 83. So 2004. Yeah, I was 21. I turned 21. I probably didn't get to see it until 2005. I ended up, I should bring it up, but I had a bootleg DVD of it. It came with 4 discs. One was the movie, one was the soundtrack. By the way, I like the one track called Awakening from the soundtrack. That's a pretty good track.
Oh, yeah.
But I forget what the other 2 discs were. I haven't watched them. Maybe I did, I just forget.
Probably like special effects or special features like bloopers.
Probably. But so I saw it. I watched it. I definitely watched it once. I might have watched it twice in a row. I don't remember. But let me talk about the build-up that led to the experience of watching it. I knew many resources online on how to find information about Godzilla films, especially, you know, from when the internet started, when, you know, there was the beginning of message boards. There was Barry's Temple of Godzilla, if anybody remembers that out there.
Oh my God!
There was the Monster Zero page in the forums there back in the day. They're now on Sci-Fi Japan. But back when the Millennium series started, you know, there was G-Fan. There was all these internet websites. There was G-Fest. There was all kinds of information out there to find out about what was going on in Japan and Toho and the Godzilla series. So when Godzilla Final Wars was announced, one of the first things that I can think of right now was the budget. It was going to be the biggest budget for any Toho-produced Godzilla film at the time. So for a fan at my age, having seen everything come before, having grown up watching Showa films, and maturing with the Heisei films, there was a lot to, I don't know the best way to put it. There was a lot of build-up. There was a lot of like, oh my god, like biggest budget ever. Like,
Like hype.
wow, like what are they going to do with money, and how are they going to do it? So there was a lot of build-up for that. And I don't know if I'm going out of off track. Just let me know, Chris, because I don't know if you want to save some things for a certain section or whatever.
This is your time to shine about Final Wars because I know a lot of people have misconceptions about your opinion on it.
All right. All right. So there was the budget, big budget, great. Then they talked about monsters, all kinds of monsters. They were gonna, they started teasing on the Japanese Godzilla website the silhouettes of the different kaiju that were gonna be in it. They were teasing all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, okay, so definitely Godzilla, obviously. If I remember vaguely, they had them all lined up. And if you're any Metal Gear Solid fans out there, the artist who did the art for the Metal Gear Solid series to this day, and he did a bunch of drawings, all the concept art and drawings for Godzilla Final Wars. So I was a little like,
Oh, that's awesome.
cool. One of my two favorite franchises kind of intertwined together.
Hmm.
So that's what was teased on Godzilla.co.jp. That's the Japanese website. Back when that was up. Actually, it's up again now. But so I would go on that webpage and just see, because I couldn't read Japanese. I would just see whatever they were teasing us. So I was like, wow, there's gonna be all these monsters in the film. Like, man, this is gonna be like Destroy All Monsters all over again. But bam, Godzilla's 50th. Like, wow. So having followed every drip and drab for the film during pre-production and production, there was all this hype getting built up, all this hype, you know. And then finally, when the movie came out, I'm like, wait a minute, like this is not exactly what we got, or what we were being projected to get, you know. You said we're gonna talk about costumes and everything and suits, right?
Yep, all the
I'll
monsters.
I'll save that for later. But just back to the main topic, my first experience with Godzilla Final Wars, I watched it. I'll try not to give all the details because we'll focus on that stuff later. But I kind of walked away from it scratching my head. I'm like, wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I was let down in some regards.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. So my first experience with Final Wars was actually probably when I was in middle school, and obviously I didn't experience the build up that the film was going because I wasn't old enough. I wasn't. No, the internet wasn't really like a thing that it was today. Like especially with 2014, going every day, checking news and all that stuff. And I didn't actually realize that Final Wars was the last film. So in 2007, I was like going around still thinking that they were still making Godzilla films. And then when I saw Final Wars and I watched it, and I realized at the end, I was like, they kind of ended it in a way where it kind of seemed like, was this the last movie? And I was confused because I thought it was like a modern movie, like 2006 or 2007 movie. And then I realized, like, when the internet was more of a thing that I went on, and I realized, oh, wait, this was the last Godzilla film? I was like, oh, geez, all right, I'm behind and all that stuff. But when I first saw it, I actually didn't like it. I actually was kind of on the same page that a lot of people who don't like it say, like, there wasn't enough monster fights, the humans were kind of, and all that stuff. But then as I grew older and I started to watch it more, I got this. I don't know. I just started to love the film, and I don't know why. Like the Matrix fighting and the human characters and like the monster scenes. Like I actually started to, in a way, like sort of appreciate it. But we'll get into that when we get into the next, I guess, parts that I wanted to talk about with this movie. So, but yeah. So first hated it. Now I love it. So it's actually one of my favorite Godzilla films. So, all right. So next we'll talk about the overall story. And what we kind of felt on it. So, Rich, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so the story, we all know the story. The movie starts off, Godzilla's fighting the Gatengo, gets locked up in the ice, he's chilling out. for quite some time. Um, and then the Exilians come back, bring them back from Monster Zero, your 2004 version of the Exilians from. Well, actually, was there Planet X? I can't remember now in
I,
Final Wars.
I don't think they mentioned Planet X. They just said that they
No.
were like they said that oh we can't or you humans can't understand our name. You can't say it in your tongue, so we'll
Yeah,
just
that's
just
right.
call us X or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really weird.
But the story, they come to Earth, they unleash a bunch of monsters. They don't know about Godzilla,
Yeah.
all their technology and science. Didn't notice a giant radioactive beast
They
down in
didn't check
Antarctica.
everywhere, I guess.
Yeah. So, the story, and I was actually at work today thinking about the movie. I didn't want to watch it again because I wanted to go with what I had absorbed from it over time.
hmm
It is, I would say, your typical. I don't know if I want to say typical, but it tried to capture that essence of the Showa films.
Yep.
Um, the way it was executed, um, I don't think I don't think it caught what they were trying to do
Hmm.
because it was too rushed. It was way too rushed. Um, the human elements of the story, I don't know. There wasn't really anybody I could connect with. The two Japanese chicks, they were pretty hot. I could dig on connecting with
Yeah, especially like the
them.
scene where he's just like Ozagi, nice work.
Yeah. So, sorry, Malter. Um, Akira Takarada, his character was pretty cool.
Dual
Was,
pistols.
huh?
He had dual laser guns.
Yup.
That was pretty
Um,
badass.
it was cool. What was the I can't remember her name. I'm such an embarrassment.
The who the
Mizuno, she was in it. So it was cool to see her back. So the story was all right. Are we talking about like the Matrix stuff and everything right now,
um
or no?
I think that would maybe fit with special effects.
Okay, so we'll go to
Yeah.
special effects and that later. But it kind of felt Godzilla was just thrown in the middle of it. Did he really have a part in this? What was he really part of the story, or did he kind of just get thrown in by accident?
Yep.
But I don't know. I guess I don't really have too many complaints about the story itself. You know,
Yeah.
just the execution. I'll leave it at that. It was the execution.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. That's one of the things that we actually agree with the Final Wars is that it's the story, once typical, well, not typical, but kind of standard Godzilla fare. Aliens come to Earth, want to overthrow and all that, using the monsters, controlling them and all that, and uh, it's to me, I kind of liked the human aspect a little bit more though. Because I don't know why. It just seemed like these characters they weren't the most interesting out of the whole Godzilla franchise, not by a long shot, but definitely like there was just I don't know how to say it. There was like a lot of comedic elements with it, especially the banter between Ozagi and Kazama that at least was there. Like I kind of wish that there was more character development with those two because they seemed like good partners. One of them was like a blood-hungry fighter mutant guy, and the other one just he kind of wanted to protect people. He said, well,
Yeah,
fighting we used to protect, and the other guy's like, no, we're born to kill and stuff like that. So.
they were the Godzilla universe versions of Vegeta and Goku.
I never thought about that. That's actually so true right there, actually. Um, yeah, but the thing that I do agree with though is that Godzilla, to me, even though I like the film, I do think that Godzilla was more pushed to the side as a tool rather than the main point of the film. It was definitely more heavily focused on the human characters than it was with Godzilla. Because I mean, it even shows like they even uh, when they're gonna get Godzilla back, they're like, well, we're just gonna take him up and we're gonna have him fight these monsters, and then we're gonna bring him back and we're gonna bury him again. And then
Yeah.
everyone's just looking at the Gordon guy, and they're just like, are you serious? Is that the plan? And he's like, yep. So it just feels like Godzilla is a tool rather than like because in the older films Godzilla wasn't a tool. Godzilla was just kind of like I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna fight those alien monsters and stuff. The humans really didn't have to like
Persuade
force
him.
Scott to sway him to go over there. So, but yeah, the story I think was I like the story. I think the whole time it's to me it's engaging. Like I never really got bored. There's no time to breathe in this movie. It's just like every scene, it's just craziness, and I think that has to do with the fighting elements. How rather than a bunch of guys in business suits are just talking in front of screens, looking at what's happening, they're actually more involved in the alien attack, and they're like fighting them, and it's kind of mixed genres with it, but yeah, the story was fine. So I think that's actually something we both agree with Final
Yeah.
Wars, is that the story's fine. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. As the movie progressed, in the beginning, I was like, man, all right, this is really. It looks like they were taking it seriously,
Yeah.
but up until the point where the monsters started showing up is when I was like, oh, what's happening? And we'll go into that. So.
Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking about that, the part that I hated the most, though, probably the worst part of the film was with the cop and the pimp and the
Oh
hobo
God.
guy.
There
That
you.
part made no sense. I hated that, and like that's how they introduced Rodan, and it's just like, and it's like, is that how Japan views America? Is that
Yeah.
kind of? I
They
just
might as
that
well
whole
do
part was
a couple
terrible.
more. And if on that note, it's no different than when they showed, the kid sitting there,
Oh, that too.
with the chocolate over his face.
Yeah, and he's like,
No, look, Mom, a real live ambulance. Oh, I'm like, really? Like that kind of felt like a slap in the face to us.
it did, it did. It was
I'm
like it's like a really nerdy kid playing with the fingers.
I felt like they were making fun of me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That part was. I guess the other part was when they introduced Kamonga as well. Like it's just a guy in his trailer, and like I guess Anger's like flies toward the screen, but then they do a cut where it's just the guy's face and go oh, and then he's like this fat guy. It's like really Japan hates America in this film.
Everything was stereotypical about
Yes,
American.
yeah, and then he just gets killed by Kamonga's foot, and that's all we get. So like okay. So yeah, all right. Let's move on to the characters. So the cast, human characters, I guess I would say. So once again, I'll let you go, Rich.
Okay, so I'm really bad at probably all of the characters in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know their names.
Gordon, because I know him as Don Fry. I don't even remember what Takarada's character's name was.
He's like the attorney state general guy.
Yeah, we call him the dude for now. That dude.
The dude.
But Takarada's character, I felt he did fine for what his character was.
Mm-hmm.
His one scene when he was already taken over by the Exilian, even though it technically wasn't him.
Yeah.
But that was acted pretty well, especially when he was asked what was his dog's name.
Oh yeah.
What was his dog's name? I don't even remember. Poncho? No, that's Sam's dog's name. No, Banjo's Sam's dog's name. Never mind. What's up, Sam? But whatever the dog's name was, whatever. Yeah, I thought that scene was well done. Kumi Mizuno, she played a pretty good role as the prime minister or whatever she was. She was like the boss lady.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
The actor that played the badass Exilian.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah, like I said, I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Let's see, I have it written down because he deserves praise. Kazuki Kitamura.
Kazuki Kitamura. What was his name in the movie?
They just call him the controller of Planet X.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like have a name.
Yeah.
Weird.
Now, I'm talking about the badass with the Vegeta style hair, not the older Planet X controller. That was bald.
Yeah, he's the older one. But the Kazuki is the guy who eventually takes over, who's the main villain.
Yeah, exactly him. He was badass. I was like, man, his acting was pretty fun. I'll give him that. The way he came off as cocky on that TV show, especially when he shot his boss dude, killed him like.
Oh yeah.
Bang.
Yeah, just boom.
I was like, this guy's, it's something you don't really see all too often in a Godzilla film. What do they call it? Stabbing somebody in the back like that. Especially bad guys. The bad guys were always together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he was good. The two hot Japanese chicks. They were two hot Japanese chicks.
They're
You know,
actually models.
yeah, I remember reading that. The
Which is
one
really
that
weird because I checked out most of the female actresses that were like in the Millennium
checked
series,
out.
and actually even some that were in the Heisei and show. It's like all of them are actually models. It's really weird. Like all of them. It's like, huh, cool.
Good taste. But
Yeah.
their characters were a little overdone or over. I think they overacted a teeny bit. When they were trying to outsmart the Vegeta and Goku dudes. You know,
Ozaki and Kazuma.
yeah, them guys. Ozaki.
Kazama. That's his name.
Ozaki
That's
Kazama.
the crazy guy.
Yeah, just computer, just internet slap me if I forget again. Um,
I can't remember half the characters' names in Godzilla.
yeah, but I felt. Oh well. Was it Kazama? Was Kazama the Neo, the Japanese Neo?
He was the partner of Ozagi, the guy who was blood crazy.
Okay, so Ozagi, I always refer to him as Japanese Neo. That's how I know him.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Japanese Neo to me. You
Now,
know,
here's actually a thing that I just thought of. Because of the new movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson and his kind of bland acting, which a lot of people say, who would you rather want, Ozagi or Aaron Taylor Johnson's character?
Ozagi.
See, I'm with you there. See,
Yeah.
I had no problem with Aaron Taylor Johnson, but Ozagi I would definitely take over what we got with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, I won't go into Aaron Taylor Johnson. Maybe
Yeah, yeah, we won't go into that. I just wanted to mention that. It's like, who would you pick? Because I know a lot of people say that Ozagi's character, they also looked at him as kind of a bland, like he wasn't really interesting, but I liked him.
Yeah, now everybody don't go crazy in the comments section. Oh my God, they're talking about Aaron Taylor Johnson. No.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. We're still focused.
Yeah. So, but Japanese Neo, like here's a line I say a lot of times when it comes to acting in the Godzilla films, specifically Final Wars, even the new Godzilla movie, and Gino. Did he actually believe the character he was playing? And that's why I felt I couldn't connect with him. Aside from the role he played as Japanese Neo, stopping bullets, all of a sudden he's so badass. And he's got this newfound power. Oh! And he had the Keanu Reeves hair from the '80s, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I don't blame him, but maybe I do. I don't know. But let's see who else. Don Fry. He played a pretty badass character.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's going to be at G-Fest in 3 weeks.
Oh, I know.
So, he's a pretty crazy dude to party with, from my understanding. So
That's awesome.
yeah, but his character was pretty good. I mean, the way he groomed that mustache, you can't go wrong. His mustache should have got an Academy Award.
Exactly.
But his character was pretty shallow, I guess. It was just.
Really?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, he was just badass American dude with a sword. No, did he have a sword?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did have a sword, and then he took one of the alien swords.
I think, I don't know, like maybe shallow is the wrong word. There wasn't much depth to him. He was just badass military guy. It was just straightforward. And I guess so he served his purpose as that. But it was good. I don't think he failed at convincing the viewers or audience, what his purpose in the film was. So that was good.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. So
yeah.
I'll give the acting a 50-50, from all the actors combined.
I actually kind of like the whole cast. I thought they were actually really good. I for some reason I just have this weird thing with like main characters, like when it comes to Ozagi or once again Aaron Taylor Johnson, whatever. But I don't know. Ozagi was. There were some parts where I do wish he had a little bit more emotion, where I wish he did a little bit more, but there were also, like, I think, some of the fight scenes, especially the climax scene, where he's fighting the controller, I mean, it just, like, that whole scene, it was so anime-ish, but it just had so much emotion. I just love the way Ozagi, like, he just went all Jedi and just Matrixy, and his face glows, and he's like, we're not cattle, and we're humans. We can do. I love the dialogue between him and the controller. It was really funny. So that's why I like him. Yeah, once again, Gordon, played by Don Fry, amazing. I liked him. He's so funny. Like, he's after they take care of Manda at the beginning, and he's just like, the lady general, whatever her name is, she's complaining, saying like, what did you do? And you almost killed your old crew. And he's just like, look, I don't need your shit.
Yeah.
I don't care your court martial crap and anything else you have. And she's just like. And I'm just like, oh yeah, he's a badass. And I just love when they like the movie knows that he's a badass, because when Ozagi's saying like, what are we gonna do? Like, we need someone to pilot the Gotengo, and he's just like, I think I know somebody. And then it just cuts to him just boxing the bag and stuff like that. It was so funny. And just like I said, the line where he's just like, the two girls come in and he's just like, oh, Zagi, nice work. That whole part, I love it. Let's see, the two female characters, one of them was the doctor, the other one was like a news host or a newscaster. They were good. I like the scientist more though, because I think she did more. Let's see, and then the older commander, we didn't actually really talk about him, the bald one, the more like level-headed one. He was fine. I mean, he didn't get much time on screen, which I guess is fine, because I guess if we did get more of him, it'd be kind of boring because he really didn't do a lot. But I was interested to see like how he wanted to take over the world, like, because he seemed to not want to be violent with it, but like he still wanted to control us. But it's just really weird. I kind of wonder how that would have done. But obviously, my favorite, and he's probably one of my most favorite characters in the whole Godzilla series, is the Planet X controller guy by Kazumi, or oh gosh, I can't even forget his name. But the Planet controller guy, he was just all out, classic villain, crazy nut job, cocky, anime, just complete nuts. But he was just awesome. Like and that final battle, I just love the final battle between him and Ozagi. I just like when he goes really crazy, like there's like one scene, it's literally like the next scene where they're or like before they start fighting, and they're like, okay, we're gonna start fighting, and then all of a sudden like the scene goes to Ozagi, then it goes back to him, and his face, like the camera's kind of pointed down at him, and he goes up like this with this grin, and he's like getting ready to fight, and his hair is just gelled like ridiculously high all of a sudden. Like, how did he do that? It's just like, I love that. And also just like the way that he did, like every time he would swing his cape and there'd be a sound effect, just like I just love that. All of them did that, and that was really funny. And just like his little characteristics that he did, like when Ozagi was actually getting the jump on him, like when he was blocking all of his attacks, and then he punched him in the face, and he's just like, one sec, and he turns around and he's like, yeah, tried to do them again. I just loved his little, like, because he was like a sore loser. If he started to lose, he would try to like do some tricks and whatever. But yeah, he was just, I love that character. I would get a figure if I could. Is there a figure of him?
No.
Damn. Someone make a figure.
let me add. I will tell you, from a human fight scene or whatever for a movie, that was I would say it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun fight to watch.
It was.
But this is a Godzilla movie. I don't want to see them fight. And I'm like, why are we watching them? I want to go see what Godzilla's doing.
Yeah.
So
it did kind of seem like it was part of another movie.
Yeah, and that's where you get the Matrix references. Maybe we'll touch base about this again. I felt ripoffs from Star Wars, Independence Day, other Hollywood movies, and then I definitely gonna have to talk about the director. Definitely gonna have to talk about him. About and why I mentioned like the ripoffs from Hollywood, but I'll say that for later.
Okay.
Bam.
Yeah. So okay, let's see. So we did the characters, the human characters. So now we'll talk. Now we can get into the special effects and what we thought. So once again, Rich, you have the floor.
Okay, so let me start from the beginning of the movie. We got the battle in Antarctica. That looked pretty cool. And the opening credits was pretty badass.
Oh yeah.
Opening track was pretty badass. It was pretty neat. Special effects. So really, we didn't get too much going on until the monsters showed up. Really, I mean, everything was either just wire work from Ozaki and Kazama jumping around.
Oh yeah, and you can also talk about like what you thought about just the look of the film, like how it also just looked compared to the other films.
Okay. Yep. It looked. the way they filmed it, it did look more Hollywood-esque.
It did.
As far as the angles of, you know, the way it was filmed, um, it definitely felt different than anything in the Millennium. Yeah, it felt a different perspective.
I think it stands on its own. Really, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like any other
Um,
Godzilla film.
yeah, whether that's good or bad, I can't answer you, but it was just
Yeah.
different. Um, Effects, let's see. I'm trying, for some reason, I'm thinking about when the X-Men, I'm going to refer to them, were fighting Ebra.
Mm.
That was pretty cool how they matted them in against Ebra, the phasers and everything. I was like, but they were cool. That was pretty neat. The destruction scenes were pretty badass. Um, if I repeat myself again later, but when Angur showed up, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it at that for now. We'll get into that a little bit as we talk about the monsters. So
Yep.
the destruction was pretty good. The CGI for Gino was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it looked off, but for a Godzilla film from Japan, from Toho, I will say it looked pretty good.
Or they might have done it on purpose to make it look out of place.
Well, then,
Yeah.
if I had it my way, he would never been in that movie anyways. But it was a nice little touch to, Japan and Toho saying, the real Godzilla, please stand up. You know, so and they took care of him. But we'll talk about that later too.
Yeah.
I would say the effects were pretty good. I can't think of anything that stuck out that ever bothered me that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. So
Okay.
I would say these special effects were good. The Subation was good. We'll talk about execution later though.
Yeah, with each monster design. Mm-hmm.
But as far as special effects, I guess I'll mention Kumonga's cargo net. I'm like, how could they get this right in 1964 with Mothra's web? They got it right in '67 with Kumonga's spray, with web, and yet they decide let's give him a cargo net. 2004, and it was yellow. It looked like the string.
String
The
cheese?
silly string that I got sprayed with by Kumonga last summer.
Yeah, that's
Check out got my Kumonga review.
Yeah.
Bam. But that was a big thumbs down for me if you ask me. That cargo net, no, not good. But what else? Special effects. The ships look good. The Katenga look good. All the other battleships, they was pretty good. Manda in the beginning looked too computer-like, especially in its CGI scenes when he was glowing.
Yeah.
He looked like the internal dragon from DBZ coming out. When the Dragon Balls were all summoned together.
Pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah, it just looked too video game-like, and I think he was moving too fast, which I think that kind of ruined it for me a little bit, But overall, I'd say the special effects are pretty good.
All right, cool. I actually, when it comes to this film, I'm actually disappointed in the way it looked. This was actually one of the things that when I first saw the film, I was very disappointed with the way that the whole film looked, because this film looks like it belongs not in 2004, but like early Heisei era. Like the visual, I mean, we got explosions and stuff like that, but for me, like the CGI, like that's the thing that bugs me about the Millennium series, is that that's when they tried to implement CGI along with the physical effects, and it just did not mix well whatsoever. Like Godzilla 2000 is probably the worst looking when it comes to the CGI stuff. I don't know, maybe it's because it was rushed because they wanted to get that out because Zilla was a disaster, and then I don't know, but ever since then they tried to make the CGI fit better, and with Final Wars it really didn't look anything spectacular. Like everything looked really like when you were talking about Manda, that looked really fake. It looked like a video game. Like the huge Star Wars scene where the Gotengo is attacking the big base, and there's just lasers flying everywhere. The spaceships are flying out and they're shooting everywhere. I'm like, I need a controller where like look
Yeah.
I'm playing Godzilla Final Wars, yeah, you know, and like I'm just not, I wasn't thrilled with the special effects, and even to this day I still look at this film and I wish, and that's why I'm confused, because when you first told me that this was the highest budget Godzilla film, I laughed. I was
Where
just
did
like,
the money go?
well, I'm just, yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, how does this film look worse than Godzilla Tokyo SOS? Because in my opinion, Tokyo SOS looks the best Godzilla film
Hmm.
when it comes to like, you know, just the look. And also nothing that bothered me about Final Wars, like they couldn't decide on a filter, because it seemed like every scene had its own filter on it. Like
Yeah.
blue was a theme, and then green was here, red, and then
A lot
like
of
yeah, there was just so many filters. They wouldn't stick to one kind of overall like filter on it like the other Godzilla films. Like Tokyo, once again, Tokyo SOS was, you know, you had here, okay, here's your color scheme, and this is what the film looks like. It was very consistent. Final Wars is just all over the place with colors and this. I mean, yeah, it was a very colorful movie. I mean, I guess if you like colorful movies, then sure, this looked pretty good. But sometimes it looked really bad, especially if you have a TV that maybe have that might have too much vibrance on it. Especially the last battle between Ozaki and the Planet X controller, because that whole ship is orange inside. So for some reason the vibrance just really comes out, and sometimes it's really hard to see things because it's so bright. But yeah, that was actually the thing. So when it comes to special effects, besides the monster suits themselves, like besides the practical effects, but the CGI put over it, just it did not impress me. Like Rodan flying, I don't know. I think it would have maybe looked better if it was a puppet like they used back in the day. Once again, Manda didn't look nice. Let's see, Gamacaris was completely CGI.
Oh yeah, that looked horrible.
That didn't look good. Um, yeah, yeah, just yeah. Most of the CGI just did not blend well, and that's the thing with the Millennium. The CGI never blended, never blended with the movies. So, all right. So that would be special effects. So for me, I'd actually have to say this is actually the one thing about Final Wars that I actually don't like is the whole look of it. I think they could have done, especially the fact that it was the highest budget Godzilla movie, which I cannot believe. So
Yeah, you know, you make a very, very good point, and I guess why I was okay with the special effects is I never really expected anything extravagant of special effects. You know, like I said, I grew up, even though I started watching when it was the 80s, so the Heisei series was in its infancy. I mean, we only had 84 and Biollante in 89, but I was watching Godzilla before that. You know, probably 80, 88, I was 5.
oh yeah.
So, you know, what I remember most was, and I didn't see Godzilla vs. Biollante probably until freaking early 90s,
Oh yeah.
maybe like 90, not 90, 90, 90, 93. It was definitely before the other Heisei movies. But I was accustomed to seeing the wires. I was accustomed to seeing just that campiness, but it
Yeah.
was executed well. You know, I never grew up expecting Star Wars style or Michael Bay style effects or any of that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And I actually don't want that, you know, out of a Toho production, if you ask me.
Mhm.
Um, if I had to go reference another movie from Godzilla real quick, you know, it would be GMK. GMK is up there as one of my favorite Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
And outside of the Show era, that is the only movie, if you ask me, that captures that the full essence of a Showa film. You know, GMK. And I'll
And
leave
the
it at that. Maybe,
effects.
yeah, we'll talk about that. Is it special effects, story, everything, the monster battles?
Yeah,
That was,
GMK really looked good.
yeah, it was really, really well done. Maybe I think I'm gonna I'll do a review on that.
And actually, on another note, have you seen the newly released Blu-ray for Final Wars?
No.
Okay. Well, I saw it, and I was, you know, with the other ones, the Kraken DVDs like Sea Monster, Hedra, and Gigan that have been released on Blu-ray. Those look phenomenal. I was amazed how they were able to take a Showa film that old and make it look like, I mean, it was crystal clear. Like wow. But with Final Wars and also Tokyo SOS, it seems like they didn't try. Like because I have the 50th anniversary DVD of Final Wars along with the Tokyo SOS 50th anniversary, And it seemed like what they did is that they just took those DVDs and they just put it on a Blu-ray disc without even trying to make it look.
It was just a HD conversion.
Yeah,
That's all it was.
exactly.
I'm not even going to waste my money on them. The only way I'll
Yeah.
buy the Blu-ray of a Millennium film is if they release the one that they didn't do. Wait, no,
GMK
GMK. I want GMK.
and Godzilla 2000. That
Yeah,
also.
I'll probably just spring for the Japanese Blu-ray because the Japanese Blu-rays look amazing.
Yeah. See, like they would put more effort into it, and well, it was weird because I was a little bit annoyed with that because with the Heisei movies that were just released on Blu-ray, those did look good. It's like they
Yeah.
tried a little bit with those, but yet Final Wars they just were like, nah, just put it on the Blu-ray disc and just whatever.
That's because if you ask me, those movies were too new. On DVD, they only really came out in 2003 and 4 and 5 or whatever it was. No, it was probably 2005.
True.
So, I mean, I throw my DVDs in the Millennium films, and I think they look just fine. I don't really see the need to jump to Blu-rays for those.
Yeah, I mean, there's just I don't know. I guess I just expected maybe a little bit much of the Blu-rays, but it's because I want Final Wars to look good.
Yeah.
And I thought Blu-ray was the answer, but I guess not. I guess that film will just forever stay the way it looks. So I don't know.
I was talking to a couple other buddies before about the new films, and then we'll get back on track because we sidetracked.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to buy the show of films on Blu-ray because I like the DVDs that I have because they hold and absorb that certain level of grain, which to me equals campiness, and that's what I like about one of the many things about the show of films,
Still, the Kraken DVDs are really good looking.
The Blu-rays.
I will buy them and mail them to you because they look good.
I'm probably gonna go pick up Gigan.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get Hedera.
Hedra looks really good too because with the older DVDs with Hedra, it's a really dark movie, But with the Blu-ray, they made it they still kept it dark, but you can see more detail. Like Hedora, I've never seen details unless you buy like an X Plus figure, but I've never seen the details on the film. With Hedora, you could look at the figure of X Plus and see the little details, but you can't see in the movie. But with the Blu-ray, they really make it good. Now, there's actually it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but it kind of keeps in the general thing of special effects. But some of the Blu-rays, especially with Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991, you see the strings with Blu-ray, It shows everything, and that's kind of why if you watch it on VHS, that might actually look better than watch it on Blu-ray because Blu-ray really exposes a lot of like the little strings and some practical effects there. Yeah, but it doesn't bother me though because I know it's Godzilla and the string, like you say, the strings kind of help. It's like, oh well, it's campy, it's Godzilla. You're kind of expected to see strings. So but okay, so I think we're good with special effects, right?
Yeah. Hey, wait here. I'm gonna go get the Blu-rays. I'll be back in a little bit.
Cool. All right, let's see
I'll
if
do that later.
Oh, what?
No, I was gonna go to the store and buy them.
Oh, I thought you had we're gonna grab some Blu-rays near you. Okay, never mind.
No.
Seriously, get those Kraken. Get Kraken on those Krakens, Rich.
Kraken lacking. I don't say that, Rich. Oh.
All right, so let's see, soundtrack. That is the next thing that I want to talk about. So, Rich, here you go.
Okay, so the opening credits I enjoyed, and the one track called Awakening, or Awakening, Awakening, I think it is. Actually, I have it on my phone.
Is that the one where it's like doon 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 doon?
Yeah,
it's like the big, very bombastic. Yeah.
But yeah, I dig that soundtrack. Where is it? Final Wars. It is track 20. But it's called Awaken. I enjoy that track.
Wait, 20. Oh, that might actually be when he's fighting Kaiser Ghidorah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
It starts off like that.
Yeah.
Let me switch.
Right. Yes, that track. Yeah, that was a really good one. That made
That's after I think Gotengo juices Godzilla. They give him some steroids and they juice him up.
Yeah.
But those are the two tracks that I enjoy the most. What was the closing credits track? I did not like how I don't even know if they're on the closing credits, but it's just they kind of butchered the Fukupe theme a little bit, if you ask me.
Mm.
In the opening credits too, it was kind of technoed up, but it worked for the video montage that they were doing.
Yeah. Well,
But
because they had a little bit of Godzilla theme with it. They kind of like
yeah, dun
was
dun dun dun
remixed.
dun dun dun
Yeah, it was
dun.
like a remix.
No. So it was I dug it. It worked for the opening credits. It was well done. But most of the soundtrack it's missable. You know, you really didn't do much for.
Hey, Riv Travis is here. Long time no see, buddy.
Yo.
Yeah. So okay. So the soundtrack is just kind of like half with you, I guess.
Oh, probably I don't like 90% of it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So like only like 10%. Okay.
I only like those. With this 29 tracks on it, on the soundtrack,
Yeah.
at least I have. I only like 2 tracks of it. You
You
know.
then you should you should get the perfect collection soundtrack because there's 3 discs for this movie for the
What
soundtrack.
am I gonna do with 3 discs of that? I just want the 2 tracks that I like.
Hours and hours of awesome music.
From Final Wars?
Well, no, see, and that's what's cool though. That the theme you like, there was a bunch of unused demos that had that same kind of theme to it. But those are like on the other 2 bonus track because like
Yeah.
they have the main soundtrack, which is the first disc, but then the other 2 discs, they're just a bunch of like bonus stuff and unused themes, and it's really cool to listen to. But maybe I'll put up a download thing. Maybe I can rip them and put them, and you can
Yeah, you do that.
do that, or maybe I'll get called by the FBI and go to jail.
I am the FBI. Full blooded. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, the soundtrack, it's kind of, I love the main theme and the like most of the theme I like because it just kind of or most of the soundtracks during the movie were kind of good. There was a couple tracks like when he's fighting or no when the police guy is dealing with the stupid pimp guy, that
Oh my God,
right
that's
there,
horrible.
that music was terrible. That did not fit at all. I don't know why that was a thing. But one thing that I thought was a really cool, like kind of homage to the 70s was when Godzilla fought Hedorah for that 5 seconds that it was there. But while you saw, Hedorah flying up in the air, hitting into the building, which I don't know how that was physically possible. But while you're hearing that, it's kind of like this 70s techno jam that's kind of going on in the background, and I thought about it, and I'm like, that's actually kind of a nice little wink at the 70s because it sounded like 70s music while he's fighting Hedorah, so it just kind of matched that kind of theme. But it was the whole soundtrack was just a mishmash of so many different genres. It really didn't stick to a overall theme. Like GMK had a techno-ish theme, but it stuck with it. Like it didn't go to different like areas. So this, and I think the Final War soundtrack had so many different composers. It wasn't just one guy. I think there was a bunch of people.
It was Keith Emerson. He did most of the soundtrack.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Were there other people though? Because I thought it had like a whole lot of other people because it was so varied of a soundtrack.
Well, I know Sum 41 did. Obviously, they did.
Yes.
Rap.
And I know a lot of people might. If you guys watched the last live stream, I talk about that. That's how I discovered Sum 41 as a band, was because I watched Final Wars. Yeah, I mean, like, and I thought that was so cool when he fought Zilla, and all of a sudden you hear the rock music came up. I'm like, oh yeah, rock fits to anything, even Godzilla. It works. So.
And I also took that. It was like, okay, so American Godzilla, let's throw an American song.
Yeah, and I think the song was really good too because it was All to Blame, and I think they're just saying, America, you're to blame for the Zilla, and it just fit. That whole thing just fit perfectly.
I was thinking at Americans, damn.
Yeah, they really.
I buy all this stuff, but the Japanese didn't come.
Yeah. So, but for me, it's it's 50-50 with the soundtrack. I thought most of it was fine, except for those little parts that were just. Also, like I don't know if it was the credits, but it was part. I think it was when they were talking about the M organization, and there's just like this. The music was. It just sounded so cartoony and out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will have to watch the movie again to
Yeah.
understand what I'm talking about, because it like that part right there, the music does not fit. But yeah, so 50-50 for me. 90%, or you hate 90% of it, 10% you think it's good.
Hate is a strong word.
Dislike.
Yup. I don't hate. There's not much I hate. I don't want to. I don't hate Final Wars. Remember that, people. Don't ever say hate. It's
They're
hurtful.
still gonna troll you. They're still gonna go like, Rich, now he hates Final Wars. And then people are going to me and they say, oh, he just never shuts up about Final Wars.
Well, you know what? If you people are out there that are like, oh, I can't believe you said that about Final Wars. Tough shit.
This ain't no censored live stream.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I guess now the biggest thing, the monsters. So we're gonna go down. We're gonna talk about every monster and what we thought, because this is the most important thing about a Godzilla film. So Rich, first off, what did you think about the King of the Monsters himself?
Okay, so let me get him. Let me get him. Let me get him. Let me get
Oh
him.
yeah, he has like all the figures of Final Wars, by the ways.
Yes, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull all of them out because they're kind of scrunched up on one little shelf hidden where I don't really
Aw,
look.
don't show me the X+1. I want that one.
Oh,
So
sorry. Already got him.
it's fine.
Okay, so now let me forget about the movie for a second and look at this as what he is here. This is pretty badass. He looks a lot like the '55 Godzilla. You know,
Yeah. Right.
very cat-like in the
Yeah.
face. Um, I like the dorsal plates. I think they could have been a little bit bigger, but whatever. That's the design. I think the design is good. I dig the design. I don't really have any complaints about the design. Um, but as far as Godzilla in the movie as a whole, um, hmm, how could I? Let's see. How could I describe this? Are we going into like depth on how he was used in the film?
Um.
Everything, or
Just kind of your thoughts on the character overall.
okay? So
So.
definitely not in the movie enough. He
Yeah.
was used too fast. I felt obviously each battle scene was way too fast. Um, I didn't like the little slide that he did when he
Oh.
was fighting King Caesar and Anguirus. I'm like, okay. And then maybe we'll sum it up afterwards. There's a few things. I'll say it now. I get why they did certain things with Godzilla in the film. You know, they wanted to reminisce with the Showa series. You know, so when you're watching Godzilla versus Megalon and Godzilla's doing the tail drag kick, okay, so
It's not too
how does
far off with
that
Godzilla
make
playing
any
soccer.
sense, people? How does that make any sense? But it's accepted. Okay. Or in Godzilla versus Hedra, he's flying. Godzilla flies.
Yep.
Really? Okay. So I can't knock the silliness, but I can in some regards because this wasn't the Showa era. You know, especially in regards to the budget and everything that was hyped for. You know, like we thought we were getting a serious 50th anniversary film, and we got some really like out of this world stuff. So he did a little slide thing. I was like, okay. Um, I did like how he did a little swirly when he shot his atomic breath.
Oh yeah,
You know,
the big rage spiral ray.
yeah, that was pretty
That
cool.
was badass.
Like Dancing with Godzilla stars. But he was definitely used too fast. Maybe they made him too powerful. You know, he just powered through each kaiju so fast he just didn't get a chance to enjoy it. But you know, well, I don't know. I don't know if I could add anything else. I'm trying to think of something, but I can't think of anything. But
Oh.
no, I mean that's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, the saying goes, sometimes no news is good news.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I mean, it left me wanting a lot more. It left a lot to be desired.
Mm. All right. Cool. Yeah. With me, I liked everything about Godzilla in this film except for the fact that he wasn't used enough.
Yeah.
Um, the weird thing is I think at the beginning when Godzilla falls in the ice, I thought that was actually kind of funny because
Hmm.
I don't know, it's like he just slipped or something. Like Godzilla just
Whoop.
didn't realize. Yeah, he's just like, "Whoops, I'm," whoa, and he just falls. I don't know. It's kind of funny, but overall, I think they, Godzilla was cool. He was a badass. He took out the monster so quickly. He was very agile, and I think that's was a really cool thing because we never, well, I mean, except for like some of the Showa movies, but I think after a long string of Heisei and some of the more serious Millennium movies, we never got to see Godzilla be so agile again since the Showa. So I think it was pretty cool to see him be, kind of crazy and all that stuff. And we'll talk about that when we talk about I guess, like the WTF moments. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, overall, I think I loved Godzilla in this. I think it's one of my. It's not. I wouldn't say it's one of my top. It's not my top five suits, but it's definitely a good design. And that's another thing too. Is like I noticed it was like he definitely looks like the 55, like a remade 55 suit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, so Godzilla pretty cool. At least they didn't mess him up. All right, so next Rodan.
Rodan. Let's see. I'm looking at my Bandai figure of him. Very Showa reminiscent, like with a touch of Spyro down, I would say, not from '93. I guess that's what you get when you mix the two of them together.
Yeah.
Um, what is that noise?
What noise?
Sounds like somebody's brushing their teeth.
Oh, I don't hear anything over here.
Whatever. Um, Rodan was it looked good. One thing I like that I found out after the fact is that they used it was Cretaceous Ghidorah from Mothra 3. They used Cretaceous Ghidorah's legs for Rodan.
Wait, they
Um,
did?
yeah, I don't have that
Really?
out right now.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, they used, and there's that big budget. I'm like, if they had the biggest budget, why did they use flaps?
Read the Heisei suit.
Yeah, but it was Cretaceous Ghidorah's legs. Who used Destroyer's tail? Somebody used Destroyer's tail. I think it was Anguirus used Destroyer's tail parts of it.
Really? Man, I did not know that.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I think it was Anguirus.
Huh. Destroyers. That's so weird. That's like not what Anger's tail's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I think it was Destroyer's tail.
Huh.
Look at that. If I pulled my SH Monster Arts out, but I think that's Destroyer's tail.
Huh.
I could be wrong. I definitely thought they used something from Destroyer. But Rodan. Alright, so the New York City scene, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Rodan's gonna attack New York City, and I'm like, okay. Scene was kind of bland, like you said, with the whole pimp and the cop.
Yeah.
Especially they tried to make the cop kind of like an Italian dude or something like.
Yeah, that was weird.
Hey yo, hey, yo. I'm like, yo, you're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong.
I'll bust a cap in your ass.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and then the way he was used in the fight scene, in the 3-on-1 fight scene, was way too comical. Way too comical. Again, but I understand they were trying to capture
Showa.
Showa. But not even Rodan, even in the Showa films, didn't really act like that. I don't know. It just didn't work.
Hmm. Yeah, me with the show or with Rodan, I don't really have a opinion on him. I mean he looked like Rodan.
Yeah.
Okay. He sounded like Rodan.
Mm-hmm.
He moved like Rodan.
Yep.
I didn't think the suit was bad or good. I mean, I do like it actually over the Heisei suit because Rodan was kind of weird as a puppet and he was just kind of small. I don't know. They made Rodan kind of weird looking in Mechagodzilla 2.
Made him look definitely more Pterodon.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, and he's fine. I think Rodan is fine. All right. Next, Anguirus. Okay.
Anguirus.
And I know I'm with you on this, Rich.
Remind you, this is the real Bandai figure from Japan. Just had to throw that out there.
Ooh.
Actually, the Bandai Creation one looks pretty exact to this, so they did a
It's
good
just
job.
like lighter.
Yeah.
With a lighter color.
I don't like the fact that his horn was smaller on his his horn on his nose.
Yeah.
Um, I'm okay with the rest of the design.
Hmm.
I just
Oh.
I guess he does kind of look like a dog in the face. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Well,
the show. Well, I guess the show one looks like a dog too.
well,
But
after Monster Island Buddies, I can't look at Anguirus Final Wars the same way
I don't know. I've watched a few of those, but they were pretty funny.
without him being like, "Ruff, ruff, 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 ruff." It's just.
Yeah, there you go. Right. But Anguirus, I'm okay with the design.
Oh. No, no.
I was okay with most of the designs. It was the execution is what ruined it for me.
Hmm.
When Anguirus showed up at Shanghai, I was like, oh! As soon as I heard that, I'm like,
Yeah.
awesome! And then he starts rolling. I'm like, what are they doing? Ruined him because he came out. He's boom, 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 and he starts rolling. And how does he sustain flight, or is he just bouncing like a goddamn bouncy ball? I mean, there is no flaps, there's no ailerons, there's no nothing here to catch it. Lift. Just, why did they make him roll? That ruined Enduro for me. And then, I'll save it for the triple threat fight. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We're gonna go into battles, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about each battle later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So that's Enduro. I'm done.
Yeah. So me, I actually really disliked the design. I hate it. Like I'm gonna say I'm not gonna say like I hated it because I know like hate strong word, but I will say that I hate it because I hate it. I hate it. Because it just I don't know, it just looks so cartoony, like really cartoony. Like I cannot because I just love the Showa Anguirus design, and they I just I, yeah, I just can't take it seriously. I mean, even when he's like going through this town, busting everything, I'm just kind of like he's so cute looking, I mean, yeah, because like the Showa Anguirus, he looked a little bit more threatening than this one, and
Yeah.
that's oh man. But I actually will have to disagree with you on the whole rolling thing, and this is because this is because of the video games. So with Destroy All Monsters Melee for the Xbox and GameCube, you actually had stop showing X Plus stuff. You're making me jealous.
This is Marmot.
Oh, that's whoa. That does not look like Marmot.
The Marmot build-up kit for the 68.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the rolling thing, I actually kind of like that because it makes sense to me. Actually, it makes sense that he'd curl up into a ball and just be a huge spike ball and just roll and destroy stuff. I actually like that, and the reason why I think is because when I was little, I played the video games where that was Anguirus' move, and that actually came out before Final Wars. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee was 2002. So they actually invented that move before Final Wars. So actually Final Wars adapted that move from the video game, and that's why I liked it, just because it makes sense with Anguirus. I just think that just makes sense. He'd just curl up into a ball and hit you with his spikes, and rather than even in the show it was fine, don't get me wrong, but kind of having to turn his back and do the whole thing, it kind of is a little bit more took a little bit more time for him to do that, but that was another move in the video game as well, him doing the whole back attack thing. But I actually like the roll thing, but the design I did not care for. I really think it just looks so cartoony, and I don't like it. I wanted I wanted the Showa suit or the unused concept of GMK Anguirus, because that suit looked good. That design, well, not really suit because it never made it to a suit, but that concept looked amazing.
Yep.
So, all right, next let's see. Oh, Zilla. Like your face, you're just like.
Oh.
Name up.
I think they did the best to capture Godzilla's character, Gino's character, the CGI, it didn't mesh too well. I
No,
mean,
no, it looked terrible.
yeah, it didn't look. It looked like photoshopped in.
It looked worse. This might get your blood boiling, but it looked worse than Godzilla 1998. Like the special effects in that movie looked
Oh
better
no!
than what Zilla looked like in Final Wars.
Wait, in Final Wars they looked worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, I
Okay.
expected that only because Toho is not a mastermind at CGI.
Well,
You know,
but some of the CG, I think they purposely made him look worse though.
they
I
could,
really
but I'll
do.
come out. Hey, you know what? They could have just took a pile of shit and had that jump around Sydney and have Godzilla fight that as
Just have a little name tag on it, say, "Hi, I'm Zilla."
yeah, I'm Zilla. But Zilla, whatever the design. You know, if anybody's seen my review of Godzilla '98, check that out. Remember, it's not safe for work, by the way. Uh, um, but it was what it was in Final Wars. Happy they demolished him in 15 seconds.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and he was only there for the purpose for the real Godzilla to finally put to rest what that abomination from 1998 was.
Yep.
Case. That's all I got to say about
Yeah.
that.
Uh, yeah, for me, it's because because I think Zilla as a kaiju on his own, I like him because I don't consider him Godzilla. He's just a cousin or some related to Godzilla, but he's not the king of the monsters, which makes me all right with him. To this one, yeah, I just think he was fine. He got his ass kicked. That was good, and he did his job. It's just the CGI just looked worse than the rest of the movie with using CGI. Like Anguirus rolling around was better CGI, Rodan flying around was better CGI, Mothra flying around was better CGI. It's just Zilla just really stuck out as like they didn't even try, but I'm honestly thinking they did that on purpose because they're just like, nah, don't put effort into that because we're gonna make fun of him. So, yeah. So Zilla, I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was really clever that they put him in the film and once again solidifying him in the Godzilla franchise to all the people who don't think or Godzilla 1998 is part of the franchise, but because Toho did this, just solidifies him more into the franchise. So, sorry, but he is. But just call him Zilla. It's fine. Or Gino, whichever one you want to call him. But, just he's his own kaiju. All right.
Tuna.
All right. King Caesar. Rich, you can go. I think this time we're on the same page.
Um,
I'm thinking.
when did they start recruiting soccer players? Like really? Okay, in 1974's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, King Caesar was lightly athletic.
Yeah.
He didn't have a tail technically dragging his ass down because his tail was in the air. But when I'm just looking at it, the X Plus version is so awesome. Hi. Anyway, so but what? Like I just don't understand. Like his eyes looked weird.
Mm-hmm.
The suit just looked so. It looked like they just took a carpet. Or they took Chewbacca, beat the shit out of him, and threw like a lion's mane on him or something, Like really, like where did he show up first?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It's because when he showed up, I was terrified. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He did not look good at all. We'll go back to the triple threat fight, and I want to try not to get too much in detail with that yet, but everything out of place about him. Everything.
Yeah.
The roar sounded fine because it sounded like they just took it from 1974.
Oh yeah, it was stock sound effect. It wasn't even remixed or anything.
Yeah. So what happened in 1974 worked.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
So I'm exactly with it. I hated the design of King Caesar as well. It just something about him in this one just freaks me out. It's like nightmare fuel. It's just like show his face to a little child and he'll have nightmares. Just the eyes. I mean, his eyes weren't red. They weren't like the style that the Showa did, and also his hands were more human-like rather than the claws that are kind of like sticking out. He doesn't really have because he doesn't have thumbs, right? So he's just kind of like this. He can't
Yeah.
really grab things. But in Final Wars, he had like you know like full human hands, and it was just yeah, it's just he was everything about him was just weird and didn't like him. So yeah, didn't like him at all.
Yeah, like another, and there goes another question with the budget. Like, where did they spend the money? Like, what?
Exactly.
Did they go out to big lunches during production breaks or
Maybe it
something?
was the soundtrack because it was so
Oh
varied.
God,
Or it was the opening. It was the history of Godzilla. That's where all
yeah.
the budget went.
Well, that looked good. The beginning looked good. I'll say it
Yeah.
again. But King
Um.
Caesar was just total waste, if you ask me. And I hate to say that.
It
And I'll
was
add again, and why it sucks saying these negative things about
these
these
characters.
kaiju that I cherish.
Yeah.
I still cherish them from the Showa films. Is that they were done justice in the Showa films. And then I come and watch Final Wars. I just feel like they butchered King Caesar.
Mhm.
They butchered so many of them in Final Wars because they rushed and they didn't. And then we'll talk about the director.
All right.
Moving
All
on.
right. Here we go. Gamacarus.
He was in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
He got
who
impaled.
forgot?
He got.
I
he
was
was.
being sarcastic.
Yeah. Godzilla came up, grabbed him, threw him
Yeah,
on the antenna.
I was being an idiot.
That was it. I know.
Yeah, but like really, like CGI Kamacuras, he looked like just a big praying mantis.
I don't think there was any. Was there a puppet? Did they even use any practical, like any kind? I couldn't tell.
When they threw him on top of the antenna, of the electrical antenna, maybe that was a puppet.
Okay, maybe that was a puppet. Yeah.
Godzilla was. I will say, the only thing I liked about that battle, when we'll get into battles, but is when Godzilla walked by and Kamacuras was like on the top. No. But horrible. I think they should have had maybe if they were gonna do a CGI Kamacuras, they should have did 50 of them. Had a freaking a plague of Kamacuras.
Like the Gyo, like the Gyaos from
Or
Gamera
even
3.
even like the Mega Megaguirus swarm that fought Godzilla. Why not it? That would have been a good battle. Like 50 some odd fucking. Oh, excuse my French. Sorry, kids. 50 sailor's mouth. Sailor's mouth. I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to be clean. I mean
No,
it
you're
too.
good. I curse too.
I know. Yeah, like if they had 50 Kamacuras, imagine how awesome that battle could have been.
Yeah.
Godzilla a challenge. Give him a challenge.
True.
It's too easy. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, saying that, the kill was cool, and we'll talk about the battle later. But yeah, it was just so. Hey, I hate it when they make a monster and they just do nothing but CGI him, and they're like, that's it. Except for the simple practical effects where he's dying on the antenna. But I just like Gamacarus, and also just think about it, Gamacarus, why? Like he's one of the least popular kaijus, I think. I think it would have been more interesting to see Gabara, just because he's infamous. So seeing Gabara in there would actually be really cool compared to seeing. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. Gamacarus is weird. It was just a weird thing to put him in.
Yeah, Kamacuras worked in Son of Godzilla because the environment. It was on an island.
And because there was more.
Yeah, on an island, you had spiders, and giant mantis things. Well,
Yeah.
Hey,
those. And also what you were saying, he does look like a generic praying mantis. Other than the Showa, he had a style, somewhat. But okay, Kumonga.
Okay, I thought the suit looked good, or the puppet,
Yeah,
whatever
puppet.
it's called.
Yeah. Or a guy was in there. Maybe he was in there and he's just like.
Yeah, it was a puppet. I'm also used to saying suit, but the suit. Where's my Kumonga? Show Kumonga. I mean, he looked a lot like the Showa version. There's
nothing you can do with him.
Huh?
There's really nothing you can change up the design. It's a very
exactly
simple.
what I was just gonna say. You really can't screw that up. It's a giant spider,
Yeah, it's a
people.
spider.
But used all wrong and not long enough.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go into.
When we get to the battle, you'll probably
Yeah,
talk
I
about.
mean, it looked good. I think it looked cool.
Yeah, with Kumonga actually on the other hand, yeah, once again the design was cool, or it was all right. It looked similar to the Showa, um and the yellow webbing didn't bug me like it does you. I thought, I mean, I was like, all right, sure. But the cargo thing was kind of funny. I don't know how that worked. I don't know how he shot it, and then all of a sudden it just automatically goes. Like, I don't know how that works. I would like to know the science behind that. If anyone
Yeah.
in the comments could tell me how that is physically possible, please say in the comments.
And if you can explain it, you're full of shit.
Great. Now we're gonna get like all these dislikes. People like, oh, I'm not even gonna talk about it because now Rich thinks I'm an. He's just
No way to
Bring it
explain
on.
that. There's no way you could explain that.
Yeah. Also, I thought. Well, okay, no, I don't want to talk about it because we'll talk about that when we get to the battle. But yeah, so Kumonga I thought was fine. Kumonga was all right. Also, the sound was different too. His roar. It was more like a. It wasn't just it wasn't the. It was like a kind of like a buggy, more of a bug sound, I guess.
Yeah, I
For him.
forget. I might go watch the movie after we're done here tonight.
Sounded like an alien in a way, but okay. All right, Manda.
Um, and now I gotta watch Atragon again because I haven't seen that in a long time. But I mostly know Manda from Destroy All Monsters. So Manda, Sea Serpent. Okay, I'll give that a check. Again, used too fast, not enough screen time. It was pretty cool to see him wrapped around the Gotengo. Oh no, well, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, good tango.
yeah, oh, yeah, in the beginning.
I
So
get confused with the Atragon all the time.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and I got the little ships over there. But again, I just like, oh, that's it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, maybe he'll come back, but never came back. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once again, Amanda, he was fine. I like the design overall of the other. Well, he's only had Showa. He wasn't in Heisei, so I did like the Millennium design over the Showa, just because he had more. Like, there was just more to him, I guess. He was a little bit more extravagant. Like the horns and all that stuff were cooler. But yeah, he did get kind of Darth Mauled in a way, I guess. And if you guys don't know what Darth Maul means, it means a cool ass character gets introduced and then they kill him off really quickly, and you're like, what the why? So because Darth Maul was a really badass character, it was probably one of the only cool things in Episode 1, and he gets killed off right away, and it's bullshit. So
I wish he was in all 3 episodes.
right, he would have been a good villain. Seriously, he would have been a good villain for Obi-Wan because he killed Qui-Gon Jinn. But okay, now we're getting into Star Wars territory. That's just bad. Okay. Okay, here we go. Ibra or Ibera, the sea monster.
Yeah.
Giant lobster.
It looked at the puppet suit, whatever. It looked pretty good. I guess it's giant lobster. Like I said, I didn't really have too many complaints about the designs. Not even Gigan, but we'll talk about that. Again, Ebra fighting the X-Men. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. But it made him come off really, really weak.
Yeah.
When compared to fighting Godzilla and Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, he did put up a fight for a
that was like more of a back and forth volleyball. Here, I'll throw the rock, and then you throw it back to me, and I'll.
Yeah. And then there goes another hokey moment in a Showa film with volleyball. So how does it make any sense? It's and I'll add, because while it's on my head, is that the Showa era was the Showa era. This was 2004. This wasn't the Showa era anymore. We're talking about modern time. But I get it. I understand why they tried to do that. But Ebra was Ebra. It wasn't enough to really comment on.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part. and that's where I don't think ever got justice served for Godzilla Final Wars.
Yeah, Ibra, once again, not bad. Uh, I like the suit. It was pretty good. I've never been a huge fan of Ibra in the first place. Anyways, I'm not a fan of Sea Monster. I thought that was the most boring. Um,
Remember, that was supposed to be a King Kong film.
that's probably why I was not really like yeah. But yeah, I want to talk about the fight between them when we get to that because between him and the humans actually because that was actually I have a cool comparison I want to make with that. But all right, okay, yes, Gigan.
I
Oh,
was really stoked about Gigan. I'm pretty cool with the design, the new design. Um, I really dug him, especially when he made his first attack. I was like, wow, he's pretty badass looking.
yeah.
In the city, wherever it was. And then I'm not a big fan. I don't like the chainsaws at all.
Oh, yeah, and yep, I know about yeah.
It just felt way too human-like for an alien kaiju. You know, so like any figure I have, I will not display the chainsaws. Like I have the SH Moss Arts one. I keep the
Uh,
regular hooks on there. Uh,
actually, I'm noticing some in the comments. Now people are now they're talking about Darth Maul, but I gotta set this straight. People are talking about the stupid Clone Wars series. Okay, I know you guys on the Cartoon Network. If you guys like the CGI Clone Wars thing, look, they did a disservice to Darth Maul by making him a freaking spider with robot legs and shit like that. That was a terrible idea. Darth Maul's not a badass in the Clone Wars. Okay, I'm sorry guys, but that show ruined Darth Maul for me. So for me, he stays dead in episode 1. So I just wanted to get that out. Okay, Rich, there you go. I just needed my little small rant. I guess I'm obligated to make a little small rant per video.
yeah, absolutely. And I will say, you guys should check out the Darth Maul comics by that being published by Dark Horse because
Yeah,
they
those are probably more better than more better. Oh my god, those
were
are probably
better.
better than what they did with the Clone Wars. Blech, just
Hook it on phonic, work it for me.
freaking
Here's how we
spiders,
go.
spider legs. Why? Why? Okay. Anyways, yeah, Gigan. You got any more thoughts, Rich?
Gigan was cool. Uh, well, again, design was cool. It was awesome just to hear that
The
Gigan
lore.
just
Yeah.
for the first time. Like I said, a lot of times, first time in Final Wars, we're seeing a lot of kaiju from the show era. So it's been so long. There
Yeah.
is some nostalgia with seeing these kaiju in this film,
Yeah.
but again, most of the kaiju I think were butchered. Gigan, I don't think he was not butchered.
Yeah. He
I
was
think he was used pretty good. Still left me wanting more.
except. Well, I'll talk about it when we talk about the fight. Well, maybe I'll talk about Guy. Actually, yeah, I'll talk about it. Okay, you can continue if you still have thoughts.
Um, I just wish his head didn't get blown off so fast by Godzilla's heat ray.
That's what I'm gonna mention. Yeah.
All like, damn, like really?
Yeah.
Like, and he flew kind of weird, but I guess they had to make him explain like how the hell does he fly. But I'm pretty cool with it. I'm good.
Yeah, so Gigan, yeah, I love Gigan. I love this suit. I think it to me it's cooler than the Showa. I think because I mean as much awesomeness as the Showa Gigan is because the Showa Gigan is also pretty crazy looking. I mean that's a really complex, really original looking monster.
Yeah.
But the Final Wars one, they just made him so much more evil and spikes are everywhere. I can't even hold the X Plus figure without getting hurt. Like seriously, that you can't hold it anywhere. It's just like ridiculous. But just the abilities that he like the new abilities that he has. Like I like his laser beam instead of just a straight laser beam. It actually it shoots a straight beam, but then it kind of spreads like in a shotgun way, and then kind of just explodes more around the enemy. His claws are so much more extravagant. Also, his little grapple things that come out of his claws that was a cool new feature. His buzzsaw is more extravagant. Yeah, I'm looking at him. His body armor is way badass. And the coolest thing that I thought about Gigan was the little disc saw blades that would come out of his chest, and they would go, poof, and like they'd fly out. I thought that was awesome. But the thing that I hate about what they did to Gigan And I know that you said that they didn't really do a disservice to him, but I think they did a little bit of a disservice to Gigan because Gigan in the Showa, he was a badass. He didn't take shit from nobody, and he
Yep.
gave Godzilla a hard ass time. He made Godzilla bleed. He
Yep.
kept on clocking him in the forehead, making him bleed out of his forehead. This Gigan, on the other hand, was more stylish than actually substance because he got killed so quickly. First off, which really that battle, and we'll get to it, but that really annoyed the crap out of me because we get this awesome new Gigan, and yet he gets killed like with nothing. Because I think in the Showa Gigan he took a few beams to the body
Yeah.
and face, but this Gigan one hit and he explodes. It's over.
Yeah.
And then when he fights Mothra. And he gets tricked, and the blades hit his neck, and it's like I'm like, they made Gigan such a weak monster in this, and I think that was a little bit of a disser. So to me, the Showa Gigan was more meat than looks,
Yes.
but the Final Wars Gigan was more looks than meat.
Imagine you combine both of them. You
Oh
combine
gosh,
the look of the Final Wars guy again with the
color
see,
scheme.
yeah, the badassness of the Showa guy again. Hey, I
Yeah,
never said I was a scholar in English literature, people, so don't correct me.
me neither.
You know, uh,
Just because
but
I passed English doesn't mean I have to use it.
yeah, I even passed college English. I don't know what I'm saying, but uh, the way Geiger got killed so fast is like other moments throughout the movie. Like, WTF? I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, there's a freaking bone here.
Yep, yep. That'll be something to talk about. Yeah. So, but I still love Gigan. I still love Gigan in this film, and if you guys want to see more of this Final Wars Gigan, to actually get like a good fight between him, type in on YouTube, watch that Kaiju something Ultimate Kaiju
The
2012
Pachinko.
video, yeah, and you
Yeah.
get to see Gigan, the Final Wars Gigan, fight the Godzilla 2000 suit, and it's like it is awesome. That's a true fight. Like that's what should have been in Final Wars. So go check that out if you want to see more of this kind of Gigan because it's really awesome. Also, if you want to see the Showa Gigan die because he never died in the Godzilla series, you watch the Zone Fighter series. Zone Fighter actually kills Gigan. So that's an actually interesting clip to watch too. But anyways, yeah. So I love Gigan. We're on the same page with that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right. All right, Mothra. Because she has to Shanghai her way into another Godzilla film.
Yep.
I want to be in a film. I want to be in the film. Let me be in it.
I mean, at this point, now, the Mothra was the same one used from Tokyo SOS.
Yeah, it was exactly the same.
Not that I don't see a problem with that. It was only a movie ago, so why not, save some money there, with that big budget they had. I don't know. A lot of... what did she even do? I mean, she showed up at the end, just Gigan. It was... again, not enough to even comment.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I'm not a Mothra. I'm not a huge Mothra fan. I mean, I was even less of a Mothra fan before I saw the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, so I had a little bit more respect for the Mothra character. But still, I hate how they continually make bullshit backstories for Mothra to put her in Godzilla films. They did that. They did that with the one that I thought was actually a good backstory was Battle for Earth. The 1992 film with Batra, because that made sense, okay? That there'd be a yin and yang with the fairies, with Mothra on Infinite Island, I like that whole lore, and that made sense. But this time in Final Wars, they say that Mothra is a internal fight with Gigan for some reason.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
And it comes out of nowhere, by the way. The human characters are just talking, and all of a sudden the fairies pop up, and all of a sudden they get teleported into this weird cave-looking area, and the twins are talking to them, and they're saying, like, yeah, Mothra fights Gigan, and I'm just sitting there going, no, you're doing this? Really, movie? Why are you doing this? And they did the same thing with the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, making King Ghidorah seem like the main enemy of Mothra. It's like every time Mothra's in a film, they make a bullshit reason just to put her in there, except for the Showa ones. The Showa ones, that was fine because that was that was like a cameo, especially with Mothra versus Godzilla, and with Ghidorah the three-headed monster, that was fine as well. But after that, it's just like Mothra did not need to be in Final Wars. I mean, I understand that they wanted to put as many monsters in there, but I would have wanted to see other kind of monsters than Mothra again, because we just got her for Tokyo SOS, so we get her in another film right away. It's like, okay, and she's barely in the film. She's only in the last fight, and she gets killed easily, like she always does. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mothra fans. I just don't. I don't.
You threw me off there with Battle for Earth. I'm like, wait, I'm thinking Rebirth, and then I was like, oh, you're using that TriStar tagline.
What?
I hate that.
Wait, what TriStar that tagline?
They tagged the movie Battle for Earth.
I thought the movie was called Godzilla and Mothra Battle for Earth.
It's Godzilla versus Mothra. That's the title. That is the only title. It was
Seriously?
TriStar. If the VHS and the DVD double feature, TriStar and Sony tagged it as the Battle for Earth.
Oh,
The
I thought that was the title to make it less confusing with 1964, because people would get it when you say Godzilla versus Mothra, people would get it confused.
No, it's like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. I'm like, what? 2?
So Japan never made those titles?
No.
Well, I just got my mind blown.
Look them up.
Wow.
I hate it. I'm sorry to everybody out there watching, but Battle for Earth is the stupidest thing ever. I hate it.
At least it's not Revenge, Retribution, or any kind of other sequel.
I have the poster. I have a poster of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, and it's simply Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Wow.
It was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, but obviously that was never a title in the show film.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to what you were saying. I was like, wait, I thought you were talking about the Rebirth Mothra.
No.
For Battle for Earth, I hate that tagline. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I've just been schooled. There we go.
But no, not schooling you, but it's just another crappy way to confuse titles and everything from Japan to here.
I don't know. Okay.
Anyway, but yeah. All right, so Mothra.
Yeah, I think we both agree that it was just kind of meh.
Yeah, and the whole Fire Mothra deal.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and then what happened to her afterwards? Like, how come she didn't burn up? She just flew back to Infinite Island.
She exploded, but then apparently I guess she came back, and I don't know. But oh hey, wait, let's see. We're good. I gotta wish Pokezilla1231 a happy birthday. Yeah, saw it in the comments. I wanted to point that out.
Happy birthday, Pokezilla1231. I hope your birthday is fresh.
I just want you guys to know that we're not ignoring the comment or the chat. So, all right. Okay, let's see. Next, Manila, Minya. Blech.
Okay. Why? 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 Really? Why? Okay, the inspiration obviously from Minya from 1967, Son of Godzilla and Revenge and Destroyer Monsters. Okay, go ahead.
It might have been the best to not go Showa with this one.
Exactly. Now, they put him in a truck. Put seatbelt on. Trying to drive. Are you kidding me? I'm like, what is going on here?
Okay, for everyone who's now requesting me to say happy birthday, I'm just gonna say happy birthday to anyone that's having a birthday, because I can't go individually. You guys request way too much.
Best about saying happy birthdays and shout-outs. We're talking here.
Happy birthday to everyone.
Yeah.
Congratulations for living.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome.
All right, yeah. But Manila, that piece of shit. Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's even when I watch the movie to today, when I'll watch it again, every time that scene comes up, I'm just like, oh god, here's the kid, here's
I
Minya,
know.
and I'm just like, please, I wish this scene would be deleted from history. I
I want
hate.
to punch myself.
Oh,
I want to punch myself. I want to wrap my hand with barbed wire, light it on fire, and punch myself.
oh yeah, I because like I hate Minya. And I'll say it, I hate Minya. I think it's just what were they thinking? Even in Son of Godzilla, I'm just like, why? Why is that thing there? Why? And oh man, and to bring him back in Final Wars, okay, it's cool to bring the Son of Godzilla back, but don't go to the Showa. You should have done at least the baby Godzilla from Space Godzilla. That would have at least been somewhat better than what we
Yeah.
got with this one, or make him look more Godzilla. I don't know what's Toho's problem with
He
making
grows like Jet Jaguar. I'm
yeah
like,
yeah
WTF?
oh
And at
oh
first, what the hell was he doing for 50 years in the forest around Mount Fuji?
right.
Did he just come out of a tree like, here I am? Don't fight everybody, no. Oh, I learned how to drive a truck in the meantime, too.
Godzilla says I need to learn how to drive trucks, you know.
Oh my god, it was horrible. Let's move on.
Yeah, yeah, please. All right. Okay, we're getting better. Hedora.
Complete waste. I mean, they
Yeah,
took a couple black garbage bags, threw some
zero,
paint on them.
0%.
Complete waste. A total disgrace for Hedra.
Right?
Or how you prefer to say it. But it was another waste of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, the. Ah.
Yeah. The design is fine. The show is obviously better when it comes to the design wise because it was just more original looking.
It was more
Um,
original. They took more time to build the costume. It
yeah.
wasn't. It was a focus.
Yeah, and but I mean, Hedora got Darth Mauled worse than Gigan did. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like, geez, he's not even. I mean, I know that they do it for cameos. I know that most of the monsters were there for the cameo thing and all that. But at least give more than 5 seconds. You know, it's not like you're paying the monsters to be in it because they're not real. So you don't need to pay more money. Maybe that's where the budget went to pay all these monsters. Maybe they're actually real. They're real actors, and they wanted a shit ton of money, and that's why Hedoro he wanted the most money, so he can only be in the film for like a second.
So you're saying Hedora was Robert Downey Jr. basically?
Basically, yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, but definitely a waste. Okay. Oh, and we get to the grand finale. Monster X / Kaiser Ghidorah.
Okay.
Oh.
I dig Monster X. I always dug it because it was so different. The color, just everything about him was pretty awesome. I wasn't really too keen on his fighting style. It felt way too Power Ranger like. But
Oh man, you're one of those. Oh.
go ahead, I'm one of those what?
It bugs me when people call Monster X a Power Ranger villain.
He's
Oh,
running.
that just gets me because I'm like, because I don't know. I hate that.
But
It's,
but but it was his running, it was jumping, it made it feel Power Ranger like. And I'm not a Power Rangers fan, so maybe that's why I say
oh,
that.
maybe that's why. Yeah, well, I'm a '90s kid, so
Yeah, I Power Rangers was after I was past that age at that
you were
time.
probably looking at that going, how the hell is that going to catch on?
Yeah,
Uh,
just about Power Rangers, I thought it was cool because I was like, oh, it's kind of like Godzilla, but it never connected with me.
yeah,
But Monster X, if the only thing that I didn't like was he just felt too Power Ranger like. You
human.
know, it almost like he didn't fit as a kaiju, which is slow, lumbering, and
Yeah,
just
yeah. I get that. I really can understand that. Yeah.
yeah. And then we move on to his transformation, and I was completely let down. Completely let down.
Oh.
I'm like, I would have rather him just stayed Monster X than change to Kaiser Ghidorah. I'm like, you take Godzilla's biggest enemy, and I don't even like Death Ghidorah looked better than Kaiser Ghidorah. You know, from Mothra. Um, it, they gave him 4 legs. He couldn't fly. It was just another opportunity butchered. He should have been King Ghidorah. That we know. I would have been happy if it was King Ghidorah from the Heisei film.
Hmm.
Okay, you know, but like the little, he's hidden back there on my shelf. But I'm like, the design didn't work for me. The way he was portrayed didn't work for me. I was like, oh, I'm like, because I was like so like stoked about this Monster X guy character, and it just felt like they ruined him. You know, they ruined what Monster X was and could have been by making a 4-legged elephant like a 3-headed Kaiser Ghidorah. And I say that let down because I wanted to like it and I just didn't. Because I expected so much from it, and
Yeah.
like I said earlier, I just felt like it's not what I paid for. So,
Okay. Well, that's fair enough.
you know,
But for me, Kaiju Ghidorah and Monster X, 100%, probably one of the best kaijus I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap, they're the most awesome things I've ever seen. Holy shit, they're just so powerful, and they kick Godzilla's ass. And Kaiju Ghidorah was the toughest enemy, and I'm not going to start this with Destroyer because Destroyer could suck Kaiju Ghidorah's dick if he has one. And, yeah. So, anyways, I
hold
love
the phone.
Monster X and Kaiju Ghidorah.
What is? I've heard about this. I think on your channel a couple times.
Yes.
Oh, people can say, oh, that Destroyer was Godzilla's toughest enemy. That Destroyer killed Godzilla. No,
Yeah.
Destroyer didn't.
Yes.
Destroyer, if Godzilla was not melting, if Godzilla started fighting Destroyer at, we'll say 800 degrees, the rest of the movie would have been the JSDF trying to freeze Godzilla. Because all Destroyer did was kill Godzilla Jr., scratch Godzilla up with his hornbeam shit, and drag him across the airport. That's about it. And knock him over.
Yeah, and it's just I'm gonna like the bullshit argument of well he killed Godzilla Jr. and I'm like ooh I wonder how many other kaiju's could kill Godzilla Jr. It's not like he's tough to kill.
Godzilla actually killed Junior, if we want to be technical. Yes?
In Destroyer?
Yeah. Godzilla technically stopped him from suffering. Junior was still alive when Godzilla got over to him. Remember when Godzilla leans forward and he breathes? Now, some people say...
I thought he was bringing him life.
I thought he was stopping him from suffering. That's how I took it.
But he came back at the end.
True, but that could just be the... Maybe that's another topic.
This is another kaiju discussion that I think I am going to have to make because people are just still... I'm still getting comments on that video. Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, Monster X, Kaiju Ghidorah, epic, epic, epic. Love it. Love it. Especially the transformation. Oh my god, when I first saw that, when I saw Monster X, like he kind of like went on the ground and I'm like, what's wrong with him? And all of a sudden he's like shaking and like wings pop out and he's like, just the transformation was just so cool. And I actually showed one of my friends the movie. I actually showed them Final Wars and they actually enjoyed it. These are like non-Godzilla fans. And when the transformation came up, my friend was like, that is the most awesome thing I've seen because he made an interesting thing. Like it looked stop motion in a way, like claymation stop motion, the way they did the animation. Like that's probably the best CGI I've seen in that movie. And I was like, and that was really cool to hear that. So that transformation was awesome. And Kaiju Ghidorah just, you know, and when I was little. When that happened, I didn't know Kaiju Ghidorah had 4 legs. I guess it's because I didn't notice off to the side because they didn't show it a lot. Like the camera was kind of cutting off half of him. So that's what was really funny. Like when Kaiju Ghidorah like raised his feet up and kind of slammed on Godzilla, it looked funny to me because I thought he was jumping up just completely and slamming on him rather than just lifting his front feet.
Yeah.
But then after looking at Death Ghidorah and how they made him 4 feet, and then I looked more of a picture of what Kaiju Ghidorah was. I'm like, oh shit, he has 4 legs. Whoa. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, love those monsters. So that monster. So and that is it for the monster roster in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Okay, wait, let's see. Kaijuzilla621, hey Goji fan, kind of off topic, but what do you think of Godzilla versus Bagon?
Oh God,
Guys, look, okay,
let it go.
I'm gonna, here's a small thing, okay, this is a little off topic, but I haven't really talked about Bagon, and here's the reason why. Bagon is non-existent in the Godzilla franchise. He's not a character in the series. The only thing that he is in is Super Godzilla on the Super Nintendo, and people say that he's the toughest monster. I say bullshit because that's a video game, okay? You can be the most skilled player and kill Bagon in a second, okay? That's a video game. That's all that's like coding and stuff like that. That's not until we get a movie where Bagon is actually in it. I don't count him as a Godzilla villain because he was in a video game. That's the same thing with Crystalak and Obsidian from Unleashed. Those monsters, also those ones. Don't care. Don't want to talk about them. I'm not even going to do a kaiju discussion on Bagon because I don't care about Bagon, and I don't understand the obsession with this monster. He was in one video game. One game. Okay, well I guess you could say Daikaiju Battle Royale, but that's a fan game. I meant official game. Okay, so no, just
Doesn't
want to get
exist.
that out. Yeah, it doesn't exist. He's
Oh God.
more non-existent than Zilla is. There.
Mhm.
So, okay. What the fuck moments in Godzilla Final Wars? So,
Okay.
we talk about the campy, really cheesy stuff.
All right. I'm gonna go straight right to the triple threat fight with Godzilla, Caesar, Anguirus, and Rodan. Complete, utter joke. Complete joke. When you see Godzilla coming in right at the start of the battle, Rodan flying, and King Caesar and Anguirus, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna get good. And then, like, come on, somebody kick me in the nuts. Really. Anguirus, like I said, I did not like the roly-poly. Then they turn him into a soccer ball. King Caesar's jumping around like he's on the women's volleyball team. Rodan's up in the sky doing a paradiddle. I'm like, what is going on? It's just complete joke. It's just like you can't. I don't know. I can't sit there and watch it and think that the director took this seriously because it looked like a complete mockery of our favorite kaiju. Then I think, okay, was he really trying to make it feel like a Showa film? And then I sit there and think, if this was a Showa film, would that have worked?
I think
In the Showa era, probably. But that's just based off of assumptions and overthinking, because it's not the Showa. It's 2004, at the time, and it's the way they marketed that film. They marketed it seriously. The best Godzilla film ever. The biggest Godzilla film ever. And, I mean, hell, it had a Hollywood premiere at the Chinese Theater in California. I mean, so, the triple threat scene, garbage.
man, see, I like it. I liked everything about that scene. I thought it was funny, and I thought it was a complete homage to the Showa because I could
agree
see
on
that
that.
in Showa films, and I mean, because a lot of people give that battle scene flack because of the soccer thing, and a lot of you guys are saying football. Who gives a crap? Football, soccer, same thing. You're hitting the ball with your foot.
Yeah, baseball.
We're American, okay? So this is what we think. Anyways, but a lot of people say it's like really cheesy, out of place, and stuff like that. And then I just bring up my book and I go, okay, well, Showa. Let's see. Godzilla did the flying kick. That was
Yep.
out of place. That didn't make any sense. Godzilla flew with his beam. That was silly. Didn't make any sense. The constant soccer or the volleyball thing with the rock with the barrel that we were actually talking about. Okay, that's kind of silly. They're playing a human sport. Okay, and I'm trying to think of any other out of place. The funny comedic parts, which I actually love. I love this though, but it is cheesy and out of place when Godzilla is talking to Rodan and Mothra in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster when they're all having their conversation, and then Godzilla gets sprayed on with web, and then all of a sudden Rodan's laughing, and then Rodan gets webbed, and he's just like, and then Godzilla starts laughing. So that's my retort to everyone who says that the cheesy parts in Final Wars, because I'm like, well, it's not unknown territory for Godzilla to do really weird thing. So that's why I like the scene, because to me it is a homage. It's a complete, like, okay, we're going back to Showa here. But on the other hand, I'm not a fanboy, so I can understand, Rich, why you say that the way they marketed it, because I wasn't around when, or I wasn't knowledgeable when they were marketing it. So I have to take your word for it that yeah, they market it in a serious way. So obviously, seeing a scene like that, and you're like, with the budget, really?
Yeah,
So
I'm telling you.
I can understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, everything that was we were that was projected towards the fans and anybody that interested in Godzilla films at all was not what we saw. It was we looked like we were being showed this, and we got something the exact opposite. And I've talked to so many people around my age group, or if not and the older, when they saw Final Wars, it was like, what?
Yep.
So, and that's unfortunate. Anyway, so that was that battle. Okay.
Let's see. So the other what the fuck moment I'd say would probably be when they were going to get Godzilla back, when they were going to release him, and these two random guys are in the control center, and they seem the most out of place characters. They're in where is
Antarctica.
it? Antarctica. So they're in there, and yet they're wearing summer clothes. Okay, first off, and like I'm trying to think, are these guys comedic? Like, are they here for comedic elements, or are these guys just like bad actors or something like that? And I just laughed when Godzilla, shot his breath at them and just like killed them like that. So I thought that was like, that scene came up. I'm just like, okay, cool. Didn't need to be in it. That could have been cut.
Yeah, and what were they playing? They were playing, was it Masaru Sato's theme from Godzilla versus?
Yeah, that was pretty funny too. And yeah,
Um,
the
yeah,
Mecha
I
Godzilla.
kind of dug that.
Yeah,
I think I have it here.
it's a boom, boom, boom. Oh wait, actually, let's not play that though. Why not? Only for a second though.
Yeah, it was it.
Might get a copyright thing. Rich, wait,
What?
pause it.
Sorry.
I don't want to get a copyright. So you're like, well, that was a good length though. We're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's if you had it playing for like the whole.
Nobody heard anything. They don't
No, that was free royalty music. What are you talking about? Yeah. What kind of face was that?
Sorry.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on those characters and stuff? Like how funny it was.
It was so goofy.
It was really good.
Like their acting was horrible.
They didn't even care.
Wait, you mean Godzilla? 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 Whatever,
They
like
just
so
called. I think they want to wake up Godzilla. What?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny because it was like over campy.
Yeah.
So it was almost forgivable.
The music helped.
Yeah, but like I guess I could say it was forgivable because the stuff they were trying to do throughout the movie seriously failed so much. I think. But that scene, I thought, yeah, that was a WTF moment, with those two guys. And then I'm like, well, why does Godzilla want to just kill them anyways? Like, what's so important about that over there?
Yeah, no, I was yeah, because I kind of felt bad for them too. I was like, oh man, they were just they were just minding their business, and all of a sudden they come over and release Godzilla, and they're just like, oh, well, this is cool. They didn't even call us to warn or anything like that.
Maybe there's a deleted scene somewhere where the music that they're playing from Richiro Manabe is no, Masaru Soto, sorry. It's actually playing throughout the ice, so punishing Godzilla for 50 years with that song over and over.
That would be the perfect reason.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm tired of that song.
Godzilla just comes out, son of a god.
All right, another what the F moment. Godzilla versus Kumonga. The whole swing. All right, so I said what I said about the cargo net, but like, how does it not snap? Now I understand spiderweb is silk; it's super strong, but what if like Kumonga like burped or something and it fell out of his mouth and he freed himself? But The whole scene, it looked like they filmed it in the garage. Literally, there was no depth at all in that scene. Like, if you watch it, it's like you could almost see the shadows on the sky. You know, and
Oh man, I need to watch it again. I don't remember seeing that. Probably the
that's
Blu-ray will
how
show me.
maybe you can't see the shadows, but that's how enclosed that scene felt. There was just no sense of depth at all.
Huh.
And then Godzilla threw him so far. I'm like really, like,
So technically, he didn't kill him. He just threw him far.
what if he did this? What if Kumonga did the Spider-Man and webbed up on some trees and caught himself?
Exactly. Then Kumonga shows up at the end battle with Kaiser Ghidorah and Gigan. Then Godzilla's like really,
Yeah,
out of luck.
like whatever island they were going to at the end, maybe Kumonga was waiting there and he webs up Minya, makes a freaking meal out of him.
That would have been good. I would have loved to
Like,
see.
high five, very nice, Kumonga.
I think that's the only thing I like about Godzilla's Revenge is when Gabara punches Minya in the face.
Yeah, yes.
That's
Wow.
yeah, that's probably the best scene. But yeah, let's see the other one. Yeah, definitely the cop and the pimp and the hobo guy. That scene was out of place. Gigan getting his head blown off
Yep.
and then sliced off by his own weapon. Um,
You wanted to talk about Ebra.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's during the fight scenes.
Okay.
It's not really a WTF moment.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it could be though, because it's you're like, holy crap, the humans are actually gonna take on the monster with guns. How is this gonna work?
Radioactive protective suits?
I guess so. There's not. I mean, there's probably plenty of WTF. I can't think of them at the moment. I didn't write them down. All I wrote down was just talk about WTF moments. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the end when Minya shows up and he does his arm spread.
No.
Like, really?
Yeah. In a way,
Godzilla should have just kicked him and said, "Get out of my way, and I'm killing the."
get out of here, you adopted piece of crap.
You're not my son.
You're not my son. I'd rather have Zilla be my son than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just a lot, but I think most of the WTF moments though, they're just funny. It's not like I don't hate them well, except for the pimp and the cop. That part I hate. But most of them, I think they're just funny. They're out of place, but they're still. I think it's what makes the film memorable is just those parts. Because think about it, when you look at Megalon, you think of the flying kick. When you think of Hedorah, you think of Godzilla flying through the air. So I think those scenes make this film. Every time you talk about it, you're like, oh yeah, that scene where Godzilla played soccer. Yeah. So okay. So now we talk about the fight scenes, or like the action scenes. I think this is probably the last topic before we talk about the conclusion. Yeah, so let's see. The fights. Okay, so the Gotengo with Manda. That was the first. No, that wasn't the first. It was actually the opening with the tanks shooting Godzilla. Well, that wasn't really a battle though. That was just Godzilla fell through the ice. End. Spoiler alert. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So okay, no, the Gotengo fight in Manda. That part. That was cool. I liked it. It was short, but many of the all the battles in this movie are short, except for the final battle. Yeah, I liked it. Oh, it was fine. Except for, I feel bad for Manda though, the way they killed him. That was like mean. Freeze him and then just shatter him.
Cool tactic,
Yeah, it was a cool way to kill him, but maybe they should have shown that to Kiryu with the Absolute Zero cannon, saying like that's how you do it. Yeah. Let's see. What was after that? Then there was just what I really liked is that when the monsters showed up, like it was after that scene, there was a lot of human elements, and you kind of started to get bored. But then all of a sudden, the monsters start attacking the cities and all that. After that, it's like non-stop roller coaster ride. And like definitely when Anguirus is over here, man. And what I love is that they definitely to compare it with Destroy All Monsters, because now I think we can start discussing like comparisons between these, because a lot of people say it's a remake of Destroy All Monsters, which I think the only element of a remake is just the fact that there's a lot of monsters.
Yeah.
and then it's supposed to be the finale, like it's the end, because Destroy All Monsters was supposed to be the last Godzilla film. So, but other than that, I don't see any comparisons because the storyline is somewhat. Well, I mean, yeah, it's an alien, but they're not exilians, and it's just kind of. I don't compare it too much, but yeah, the destruction scenes were awesome. Um, the music along with that scene was pretty cool, especially with the guitar playing in the background. Gave a little
Yeah.
bit of rock element to it when Gigan when he broke out of his, I don't know what do you want to call it, because he was like a,
Tomb.
yeah, like a tomb or something. Um, let's see. So okay, the first battle when Godzilla pops out was Gigan. Okay, so that was in Antarctica. So yeah, that part could have been at least a little bit longer. I mean, because that all it was Godzilla just showed up, Gigan popped down, Gigan shot his grappling hooks wrapped around Godzilla's neck, and then Godzilla blew his head off. That was it. Like that was the battle. Like that was not enough. um. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about that scene?
I wanted more. I think if I had to sum up every battle, everything left me wanting more.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted more Gigan, because I thought he was badass,
Yeah.
but him getting his head blown off super fast, I'm like, come on, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
And there's plenty of human scenes that
Well,
could have been cut out to give that scene more screen time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, I'm going to sit here and say, I think they gave the human characters way too much screen time. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a Godzilla movie. It's supposed to be about Godzilla, not
Like
me.
like here's to put in comparison that the motorcycle chase scene between Ozagi and Kazuma or Kazuma, his partner, whatever, uh, that was a longer battle than the battle with Godzilla and Gigan.
Hmm.
That just doesn't seem right. It seems like that should have been shorter, so that fight scene could have gotten more time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So then we go to Godzilla fighting Zilla, which that was awesome. Which ever since I've seen that battle though, I've always had this yearning to see. I mean, I know it'll never happen because fans would go apeshit if this was actually a thing. But if there was a movie where it was Godzilla fighting Zilla, like obviously Godzilla would win, of course, because you have to. But let's have Zilla be a little bit more of a threat. Like just kind of
Yeah.
like a cool battle between these two. And the only thing that did that was the first issue or the second issue of Godzilla Rulers of Earth. That's a comic book series.
Hmm.
They did that where Godzilla fought Zilla, and I was really excited for that. But I want to see a movie about that. I want to see like a full movie. So I think but that final battle, that scene was fine. It needed to be that short because it was the whole insult saying nah 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 nah, you Americans do not know how to do this, and this is how our Godzilla will kick your Godzilla's ass. Although I don't know about any more because we made a pretty hardcore Godzilla this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that scene was fine. What do you think, Rich?
It was fine. It's like I said earlier, it served its purpose totally. You know, and you said, haha, our Godzilla will always reign supreme.
Yeah.
And then that's also, to touch base on why the Millennium series started.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says, oh, it was Toe's way of coming back and saying, we're going to show you how it's done.
Yeah, this is what Godzilla is.
I mean, you can look at it like that, but the Geno Godzilla '98 actually sparked so much interest in Godzilla again.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Toho came back with more movies. So,
Yep.
but at the same time, like you said, the way I took it as a Godzilla fan, because I didn't like Godzilla '98, Toho sitting there saying, "Hey, boneheads, we're gonna show you how to do it,"
Yep.
And I was like, "Thank you."
Yep. All right, what was after that? Okay, then we get to the part where Ibra fights the EDF, and it's so funny that I say EDF because I'm not sure if you know, Rich, but I know a lot of you guys who are watching know about Earth Defense Force, the video game, and I've been doing Let's Plays of them. That whole scenario, after I've played a lot of the EDF games, now seeing this scene again, I'm like, it's EDF. It's the Earth Defense Force game right there. It's a bunch of human soldiers with rocket launchers running up towards a gigantic kaiju fighting him, and that's I think why I like that scene, because I can understand a lot of fans that hate that scene, like older fans, because they're thinking, well, that humans and finding Nibiru, and like all of a sudden they're actually able to take him down, which is kind of crap because the monsters are supposed to be really tough. But I think I like it just because of the fact it reminds me of the EDF video game.
Yeah.
But it's just, and I thought it was kind of cool. See, like it was completely Matrixy though. They're like flying around on wires, jumping on the buildings and stuff. I just thought it was so anime-ish. I loved it. What do you think?
Like when has ever in any Godzilla film anybody been able to battle a kaiju one-on-one like that? I'm like really? And
Yeah.
then I even thought it was hokey in Godzilla vs. Megaguirus when that chick, yeah, I forget her name, whatever, but that commander lady, she rides Godzilla long enough to plant a transmitter on him. I'm like, radioactivity here,
Right.
like
Right.
contaminated. You're dead.
Yeah.
So even if these EDF guys, the soldiers got close enough to Ebra, man, like they're risking radiation poisoning too.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I don't know what. You know what? Sometimes I ask myself, why do I even question these things? Like, it's not.
Why do?
But there goes, room for opinion and thought.
Yeah.
But it was so different. It felt out of place almost. Because we've never seen anything like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and they pretty much shot his eyeballs out. Damn.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Kazuma's like he jumps on the top of it and just like shoots him in the head, and like you just see chunks of Ibra's head just flying off, and you're like, ow.
Mm.
But yeah, and wait, what? Okay, I hope this guy is joking, but
You reading these comments? You guys are talking about some weird stuff. What is this? EDF is love. EDF is life. All
it's
this
this
stuff.
stupid. It's
Pay
this.
attention. We're not sitting here for nothing.
It's this stupid meme. It started with Shrek, and it's this video called "Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life," and it's the most disturbing thing you'll ever see, and it's the most stupidest thing ever. Like I don't know, but I guess that's what they're talking about. But someone, it's not here anymore because the chat is going up. But someone is asking a question, and I hope this isn't a legit question. I hope you're joking, but it said Godzilla is a kaiju.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the matter with you, Geraldo?
Okay, was that okay? Hurrah! I hope you're joking. I really do, or because yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So okay, what was next after that? Oh yeah, Godzilla fights Gamakaris. That was a short one.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Do the thing, the antenna.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
Manga, he had the throwing contest.
Yeah, throwing contest. And let's see. What was after that? Was it Monster X fight?
It was a triple threat fight.
Oh yeah, okay, that one.
I already talked about that. I don't
Yeah, we already went over that. So that was, for me, I liked it. I know you didn't like it. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess then.
Yeah, then it's Monster X.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Like, I was digging the idea. Like, why couldn't it have really just been like maybe Godzilla and Mothra versus Gigan and Monster X?
Yeah. Yeah. They tried to do it. They tried to because like when Mothra showed up, they did kind of do a tag team thing, but Godzilla, I don't even think Godzilla was in the same frame as Mothra.
No, and the reason why I say that is if they did a tag team match, it would be so much easier to focus on the monsters together.
Yeah.
Even if they did like 5-on-2 and made Gigan and Monster X like super badass, where it took 5 Earth monsters.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I was hoping for something like that where it was like the good guys versus the bad guys. You know. But I liked the filter, for that final battle.
Yeah, it was dark and just Yeah,
I mean Tokyo's in complete ruins.
It's one of my favorite fight scenes in the whole series. In my opinion.
I'm trying to rewatch it in my head right now, but see, Kaiser Ghidorah just kind of ruins it. The interaction with the humans, Juice and Godzilla back up. I mean, I thought it was pretty badass how strong Kaiser Ghidorah was, able to lift Godzilla like so high up.
Oh
but
yeah.
Now that's pretty beastly. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty powerful. But at no point in time did I feel Godzilla was ever in any danger.
Hmm.
Obviously he's gonna come back. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was kind of cool how he was doing the Godzilla versus Gigan Ghidorah flip a couple times.
Yeah,
And
that was like classic right there. Godzilla grabbing the tail of a monster and then just slamming him on the ground. That was pretty.
yeah, you
Um,
know, go ahead.
Oh, it's like the thing that was awesome though was the beginning of the battle when the controller guy, he's like, this will be Godzilla's final battle, and then bring out the monster, and like Monster X is just hovering in the background with the awesome music playing. It's like the most epic intro to a monster, and like he's just
Yeah,
floating down like this, and Godzilla's like, he has to turn around, and he's just right there. And, oh man, the whole setup for that was just I loved it. I loved it.
yeah. I did think that was pretty badass too when Monster X came hovering down slow. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like what is this dude? You know,
Yeah.
and that's what made it so intriguing about Monster X. Is like he's new, he's fresh. Didn't mean to say that, but and that's why I was kind of let down with Kaiju Ghidorah because like I wanted to see more of Monster X.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree with that too.
like, what if Monster X was getting his ass kicked, badly beaten, and then King Ghidorah shows up to aid Monster X?
Oh, that would be really cool, actually.
But
I've always had with that final battle. I thought what would be the perfect setup, and it would kind of be its own little remake as well, if that Godzilla and Anguirus fought Gigan and Kaiser Ghidorah.
yeah,
Boom! You got Godzilla versus Gigan right there.
yep,
Oh, I mean, it's just like that. That would have. Oh, now I'm thinking about that. I'm just like, man, why couldn't that have been that battle? Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Like I said, it just leaves you wanting more. There's so much to be desired. I
and
mean,
that's
that's a
yeah,
good thing, but it's just like I said, the way they executed everything, not execution, executed everything. And that's right, Argoloth Scrab Fresh. That's what's up. Um, but yeah, so I think we're more on similar stances for a lot of this stuff about this
yeah,
movie.
I know. I'm actually very
So,
surprised, Rich. I thought you'd be busting my balls here.
no, like I said, no, I gotta be logical. You have to take what's being presented, and that's what you base the opinion off of and analyze it. Everybody can sit here and be over exaggerated and say this,
Yeah.
that. That's not a fair assessment. I like to
Yeah.
give a fair assessment. So
Also, the final human battle. I guess I could talk like a little bit about the motorcycle battle. That was kind of cool too. Like it was cool, but like I said, that scene could have been maybe a little bit shorter so that we could have gotten more monsters. But and then the final battle with oh wait, no, actually before that, it was actually when the commander guy sacrificed himself to have the whole crew leave while all the other mutants were under control. That part was bad ass. I
yeah,
loved. I don't care if that was in a Godzilla film. It seemed like it should have been in another film, but that whole scene was just. And then like where Ozagi's like standing at the door and it's in slow mo, and then the commander looks at him and says, "Go!" And he's just, I don't know. That was so epic. Oh
I like that character. He was pretty cool.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he
Um,
was pretty badass.
hey, Rich, who would win, Yoshi or Godzilla? I'm not answering that.
What kind of
No.
question? Why?
Hey,
You
off
realize how
thought. Go
tall
wash
Yoshi
your mouth
is.
out with soap. Really, get out of here with that.
You realize how small Yoshi is compared to
Oh man.
Godzilla.
Anyway, but yeah, that commander dude, he was pretty. I liked his character. He wasn't trying to be anything over exaggerated. He was used pretty well,
Yeah.
and I liked his sacrifice, and it was awesome to see that he survived.
There's another what the fuck moment is when they leave, when the Gotengo leaves and he's on the ground, like he gets out and he just falls on the ground and he just starts laughing.
Yeah,
Remember, like I was like, what's so funny?
he's like, haha, we got you, you overconfident
Oh,
freak.
maybe maybe that's why he was laughing. Okay, because the way he was laughing, it just didn't seem like he. I don't know. It was just really weird. um, Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, the final battle though between Ozagi and I mean that whole last battle between the crew and the Exilian crew, I mean that whole last part was really cool as well. I mean the whole climax of Final Wars I love. I just love the whole like the last battle and stuff when they get into the main planet looking Exilian base.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and like when they separate, so like you got like three battles going on. You had like the battle between Ozagi and the commander going on. Then you had the battle between Gordon and like
Mhm.
two of the generals, and then of the Exilian generals, and then you had the other battle with all the other characters with Akira Takarada with two dual wielding laser pistols shooting at the Exilians, which both sides make stormtroopers look like they can aim because no one got hit in that whole thing. I'm serious. No one
You
got
were
hit.
right. You
Like
were
it
right.
was
That's so funny.
and it's this narrow hallway. There's pillars in the center that are the only cover you have, and all of them. And I'm gonna quote what Rob from ETN said, and this made me think. I was like, oh my god, he was talking about how like all of them decide to like go around one pillar to take cover around one pillar. All of them pile up
Yeah.
around one pillar. And how can these Exilian troopers not shoot one of them? Okay, I guess they shoot the one general in the arm or whatever her name was. Which, by the way, that was kind of a weird reaction. If you remember, she was like shooting, and then like this like her arm got shot, but then it was
Yeah.
kind of like a delayed reaction. She's like, ow, oh, that was weird. But like that whole part just makes no sense. It literally makes stormtroopers look like they can aim because honestly, like there was so much bullet or lasers flying everywhere. I'm like, no one's going down. What is this? So funny. Um, but yeah, and then when he kills the commander, when he's just like, I won't die here, I promise, or I won't die alone here, I promise you. And he's just like, oh, it's gonna self destruct. I'm like, oh, is this like an old Nintendo game where when you kill the boss, all of a sudden there's like a timer, a countdown? That's like Metroid. Metroid does that all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole battle, I just loved it.
Here's one thing about that battle I did not like was the Death Star run ripoff.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a
come
complete
on.
ripoff. That was a really bad ripoff.
And then I guess we'll get. I definitely want to talk about Mr. Whatever his name is, Kitamura, the director.
Mm.
But that felt like a ripoff. Obviously, Japanese Neo felt like a ripoff, stopping all the bullets and everything. Um,
The
you know,
Matrix stuff.
the Matrix stuff, yeah.
Well,
And I'll go back to the bike motorcycle chase. Yeah, it was pretty cool, but it just felt so out of place. Like I'm like, what are they doing? Like this
but
doesn't belong.
to actually give credit to the movie though, how many other movies at the time were ripping off Matrix?
You're right. You're right.
Everybody was.
But I don't know. I mean, I would never sit down to
I
watch a
guess it's
Godzilla movie.
because yeah, I guess it's because you're thinking it's weird to have Matrix fights in Godzilla, but I think Toho they always follow trends. If you see like if you look in the other movies, they were following other trends that movies were doing. They didn't do it as hard though, but definitely the Matrix thing. I mean, because this was 2004, so I guess the second and third Matrix movies were out. So yeah, it was all the rage. Every action movie had to have some sort of slow mo camera spin, thing on it. So that's the one thing I don't. I know that it was kind of Matrixy fighting, but I don't blame the movie because everyone else was doing it as well. So if it was just Godzilla ripping them off, then it'd be a problem. But
Yeah.
every action movie was doing it. So I don't actually blame it because they were just following the bandwagon. So
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the other two Matrix movies came out in I think 2003. Both of them were 2003.
oh, okay.
So it felt way too fresh for the Matrix movies to come out and then to be ripped off in Godzilla Final Wars. Um, Godzilla is SpongeBob. No, he's not.
I think people are just making up weird comments now. All right.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
So I don't know much about the director, but it seems like you have a lot you want to talk about with the director.
I just don't. What to me, Godzilla Final Wars was his application, what he thought was his application to get to Hollywood, if you ask me.
Hmm.
He wanted to be a Hollywood director. His goal was to go to Hollywood and make movies in Hollywood. So I question, did he ever give a shit about the Godzilla franchise? Did he ever really care about the movie that he had the opportunity to film for the 50th anniversary? Did he not? I just don't think he cared at all. That is why you have your Matrix ripoff, Star Wars ripoff, Independence Day ripoff. There was even a part where I thought it was an Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom ripoff when Ozaki and the Planet X, or the controller Planet X, whatever we call him, the Exilian controller, were fighting, and Godzilla and Monster X are fighting. It reminds me of the scene when Indiana Jones is fighting the big guy in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, and Short Round's fighting the little prince dude, and they're both punching him at the same time. It just felt like a scene right out of Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Now, actually, I want to stop you right there because in Godzilla vs. Mothra, 1992, Toho completely ripped off Indiana Jones with the beginning of that movie,
Yes,
with the guy with
completely.
the hat going into a temple and trying to steal an
Yeah,
artifact, and
totally.
all of a sudden it goes down. So Toho themselves are guilty of ripping off stuff as well.
Yep. Yeah, I'll never forget the moment the first time I watched Godzilla vs. Mothra. I'm like, whoa, Japanese indie, cool. And like, yeah, totally, I completely agree. I don't like ripping off of anything. I think there should be some original content. But anyway, so Kitamura, I just don't believe he cared about the franchise at all. Toho made a big mistake hiring him as a director with the biggest budget for a Godzilla film ever, and he
Yeah.
ruined it. I will say, I did enjoy Kitamura's one film he did. If you don't know what it's called Midnight Meat Train. He directed it.
Huh.
It stars Bradley Cooper. It's a horror-based movie. It's pretty cool. I will give him only that, and that is all. Midnight Meat Train. Pretty cool.
For me, I don't know much about the director, so I can't really get a full opinion on him. But I think I can kind of believe you how he wanted to get into Hollywood,
Hmm.
but I do think that he cared a little bit, and that's why there were so many Showa nods, and the fact that he was able to get all these Showa monsters, because there were no Heisei monsters and there wasn't Orgo or Megaguirus, so I think he knew a little bit. To me, I don't think he had 0% respect for Godzilla, but I think he kind of used it and did some things that he thought might be fun for the Showa fans, but ended up maybe backfiring in his face. But like I said, I don't know him completely, so I can't really
Yeah.
get a full opinion. But I don't I think he understood it a little enough to give those homages to the Showa series. But yeah, but so
I
I
just,
think. Oh, what?
just to add to what you were saying, I could agree to that somewhat, that he did care, but then part of me thinks, how can I win everybody over? Ooh, let me bring a bunch of Showa Kaiju back and do Showa Kaiju things. You
Hmm.
know, but that's just, my distaste for how it was executed. So,
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
but yeah.
All right. So I think we've tackled all this stuff. So I guess this will be the conclusion of the discussion. So any final words? Haha, final. Get it? Um, on this discussion.
I'm gonna go watch it probably after we're done here. Just to see if I pick anything else up on it. You know, um,
But here's the thing. How
no.
about How about you go into Mr. Fresh Vinyl character and talk about Final Wars the way that you really want to talk about it. Come on, rip it to shreds. I know you do.
Why? But
Like in your Final Wars review, it was so funny the way you did that.
wait, the gag one?
Yeah, I think. Well, it was just all the stuff that like when we were talking, like the stuff that you would just like bust my balls about, just go
Like,
complete rage, just like
you want me to go rage? Oh,
say
hold on.
say your full feelings, Mr. Fresh Vinyl feelings on Final Wars.
Okay, all right. This is a liability warning right here for everybody out there watching.
You guys
First
ready?
off, I'm 30 years old. I can speak however I want. I can drink a beer whenever I want. If anybody out there's got a problem with drinking a beer while I do my goddamn videos, turn off the fucking channel and go watch My Little Pony or whatever other kind of crazy shit you out there watch, okay? Because I'm a big boy. I play with big boy toys. I don't collect that Bandai Creation shit. I don't. Hey, you asked for it. I don't collect this, but it's here because my father-in-law got it, man, and he don't know what the hell he's talking about. So, Godzilla Final Wars, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, really, Toho had taken everything they had built up, handed it to Kitamura, and Kitamura takes Godzilla's ass and shoves his head up his ass and his ass and his head. So, I'm kind of a little too exaggerated. But really, Final Wars is like a complete fucking joke. It's like a slap in the face to all the Godzilla fans out there. It's like, haha, we're going to give you everything you want, but we're going to make it like shit. Like, you want this? No, we're going to give you the exact opposite. Minya, man, if I didn't really care about having a complete Bandai collection, I would melt this figure right now. I would light him on fire and melt him. Melt him. I mean, check this out. Godzilla, Final Wars. Boom. Don't
You checked it. You're like, oh wait.
Yeah. Little bastard. I mean, all right, like really, like the fuck. Really, like, let down.
Into your
Complete let down. You tell me you're gonna give me the biggest budget Godzilla film, and you give me the worst quality product ever for the 50th anniversary film. Oh. Bandai didn't even know what to do with the figures. When they already started producing the 8-inch figures for Godzilla Final Wars before the movie came out, and then when the movie came out, they're like, "What the fuck is this shit?" So let's make Rodan and Endurus and Exilian in the 6-inch scale. So now you got your figures from Godzilla Final Wars in 8-inch scale and in 6-inch scale. So nothing's in fucking scale. Doesn't make any sense. I can't even display them right because fucking Endurus and Rodan look like kids. Shit! Buy vinyl, fresh vinyl. Make sure you check out my videos too. Damn it! This is a toothbrush. I don't know what else it is. I don't know. See, here's what happens: when people ask me to do things, it doesn't come out natural. So
no, that was perfect. That's exactly what I wanted.
Oh, okay.
That was the perfect rant.
Rant. Oh. Shit. I almost got nothing else. I was being so logical throughout this whole video. You got punching my figures with figures. I'm throwing stuff at the person.
When you hit it with your X Plus, you're like, oh wait.
Yeah, scratch a nail. Parents probably sitting there watching their kids. What is that? Turn that garbage off now. He's bad. Tough shit. YouTube. If you're out there watching your kids watch this right now, bad parents. Bad. I told you I was going to get filthy. I'm 30.
And that's why we have Rich here.
I'm just going ape shit. You asked, I don't know.
That's why we watch.
I don't know.
People love it when I rant too, but
so don't buy bootlegs. Bootlegs are shit. This is a bootleg. You know why? Because his eyeballs aren't painted and his wings aren't painted.
Oh,
so
God.
for those that are going to G-Fest in 3 weeks, make sure you come check out the Godzilla Collectors panel that I will be on with other collectors talking about all the stuff that we collect.
All right. Well, I think that's I think that was a good way to go out. So, All right, yeah. So, final thing with Final Wars, being serious again. I said the joke again, didn't I? Uh, if you like it, if you're on the side that you like it, cool. You're with me. That's awesome. If you're not, then you're with Rich. That's cool. No problem. We're
But
all what?
but I I kind of am, with you,
Am I starting to motivate you to like it? No.
No, no, not at all.
Like no, no, no,
Like
no.
I said at the beginning, I didn't want anybody to think that I completely write the film off. but but I'm yeah, I don't
No,
know.
no
You know,
middle of the road bullshit here.
yeah.
No, but yeah, so you know, it's we're all in the community of Godzilla, so we all have our different likes and dislikes of it all. So yeah, Final Wars. What do you guys think? Put in the comments. Let us know after the video, because obviously I'll be getting more comments after this is done. But yeah, so that is it for this Kaiju discussion video. Thank you guys so much. And I also a little update. Let's see. I just want to say this now before I stop this because I want you guys to know there probably won't be a video for a while because I'm moving and I'll have to move my computer and all that, and I won't be able to make videos for a little bit. So that'll be that. The next Kaiju discussion video I have planned probably the subject to discuss Gigan's origins. I've wanted to make a video talking about Gigan because he's just such an interesting monster, probably the most unique monster I've seen from Godzilla. So keep an eye out for that, and that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay big, G fans. And what else, Rich?
Buy vinyl, fresh vinyl.
That is right.
Damn straight.